And we're live. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We are playing Within the Ring of Fire. We open in the city of Bale. Bryce Hycro is seen escorting a member of a noble house. Andrew, you can go ahead and describe yourself and the nobleman that you were with.
Sure. I am 6 feet tall. I am quite strongly built. Tall, more on the lean side, though, not so much bulky. I am wearing fine armor and a talbert that shows, for those that would know, the mask symbol of House Bram, or Bram, and I have purple, sort of almost mostly purple hair, but with sort of red and blue that sort of tinges on the sides. He has some scruff on his face that is also purple with a little bit of red sort of mixed in with it. Sort of a twilight sort of colored hair. And he is, currently he has a polearm in his, that looks like a meat cleaver at the end of a long pole. And a mace he's carrying to ensure the justice of the city is ensured. And he is walking by a much shorter man who looks like maybe in his teen years. My character looks like I am more in my early 20s. The man walking beside me looks like he is in his late teens, and he is extravagantly dressed in a nobleman's garb, and he is but he's a younger gentleman, and we are walking through the streets briskly towards the docks through the commons at the moment. And my character is also, I am quite attractive as well. I am and that's all.
J.C. Bram, the nobleman standing next to you, you've been assigned to keep him safe. He has many enemies, being a noble in the House of Bale. And as you're perusing the docks, and he is actually searching out a new specimen, a new woman to find tonight, you begin to lose yourself kind of in the crowd for a few moments, and when you turn, JC is actually panicking as he's searching his belt for his pouch. His gold, his silver, it's been stolen. It is no longer on his belt.
My lord?
I
Right.
I can't find it. My gold. My gold is gone. Where is it?
I quickly search through the crowd, seeing if anyone is making off quickly away from us. I also move in closely to ensure the safety of my charge.
The crowd seems a little bit oblivious as to what's happening, but as you search around, you do see members of the crowd being a little bit ahead of you, being bumped and moved, but you can't see what's causing them to be bumped and moved away. It's almost as if there's something below the headline of the crowd.
I put my polearm into both hands, and I say, "Move aside! Move aside! There's a thief amongst you! Move aside!" And I sort of moved briskly in the direction of the parting crowd.
As you brandish your weapon, people immediately recognize your kind of authority, and they begin to move out of the way, at least to stay out of whatever disturbance is about to happen. And as the crowd parts, you see waddling away from you, looking over his shoulder, quite possibly the most disgusting and ugly Farum face that you have seen in your entire life.
You there! Farum! Foul Farum! Stop where you are! Thief! Stop!
Oh shit!
I move quickly towards him, brandishing my polearm in front of me. I don't seem to want to hit him necessarily, but I do so menacingly, intimidating him to try to get him to stop this.
As he trundles through the crowd, you close the distance very, very quickly. His stumpy, tiny little legs can't carry him nearly as fast as yours.
Once I get once he gets within reach of my polearm, I kind of reach out, and with the butt end, I get it under his legs and try to trip him up with it.
All right. And Thalogar, as you are trying to move away, you do feel this polearm slip between your legs and trip you. You fall to the ground, and as you do, the pouch that you're holding, gold coins glitter in the street, almost taunting you, as you know that you have failed in your crime.
No! As he tumbles to the ground, hitting it quite hard, seeing the gold coins slip his grasp, and he knows this is not going to be a nice day. He tries to get up and just run, leave the gold coins, just run. He knows what happens to those that are caught stealing.
Once he sees you attempt to get to rise to your feet, he puts the cleaver-like blade of his polearm against your neck and says, "Do not move an inch, thief."
As you say this, behind you, J.C. Bram, your ward, runs up, and as he sees that you've subdued this Farum, he spits on the Farum's face and then kicks him in the gut. You ugly son of a bitch! You think you can steal from a nobleman? Who do you think you are?
He shows him a grin, his teeth bloody, and he spits out a bit of blood.
He says, we should have eliminated your kind when we took this city.
Oh shit, have you? Are you doing your best? And he looks up to the big guy with the polearm. Afraid he might just cut his throat at this point.
He says, Bryce, put your polearm away.
Yes, my lord.
And he hands you a club, and he says, make him suffer for his crimes. You exercise the authority of the city. Beat him.
My lord?
You heard me. Beat him.
Wait, I'm sorry. And Thalogar tries to get up on his short feet and looks around the crowd for help.
You do not see any help. You don't see any other Farum. Not that any of them would intervene to save you at this point. But what you do see are several other city guards closing in.
He has panic in his eyes. He looks... my lord, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know who you were.
Bryce, make an example of this thief so that all will know what happens to those who steal from us.
But, my lord, should he not serve a justice at the palace, or
what other justice can there be? So we can take him to a court, and they can deliberate over the facts of the case. We have hundreds of witnesses here. He has the gold in his hands. Beat him.
But my lord, to beat a man openly in the streets in front of everyone, such a foul thing to do. Surely, my lord, have some decency. We can't. I simply
You
can't.
insolent little prick. Are you defying me?
But
You know who my father is. King Bram. And do you suppose that he will be happy, he will be pleased to hear that you, a dog, has disobeyed his master?
Sir,
This is your final chance. Kill this Farum.
Let us talk to your father. Perhaps I kind of look around desperately, like, this is the last thing I want to do, is to beat a man to death in cold blood in the middle of the street in front of all of these people. I start visibly shaking in both fear and dread of what could come next.
JC begins to
No,
chuckle.
my lord. I will not.
You weakling. You utter pathetic weakling. You don't deserve to serve in my guard. Guards, arrest this man under my authority, J.C. Bram of the City of Bale. And with that, 3 additional human guards step in, 2 with broadswords drawn, another carrying a large mace and a shield. They simply step up to you, looking reluctant to do their job, but knowing that this is what they have to do to survive. This is what they have to do to stay out of your fate, what is coming down upon you. And they just say, Bryce, submit.
I say no. No, I will
Says,
not.
look, we all will all speak highly of you at your trial, and we'll get you out of this, but don't make this mess any worse than it is.
I kind of suddenly, I'm white. My normally pale skin is turned completely sheet white at this, and he slowly just drops his hands and drops his pole arm and to the ground and looks, sadly at the ground.
Thalogar has a smile of grim satisfaction that, and he kind of spits on the ground. Pathetic humans.
As you're standing there, another man that you hadn't seen has entered the fray, and as he steps up, you can see he's wearing this tan cloak with a hood, and he's a human, and he's almost as ugly as Thalogar is. He smiles with gaps in his teeth, and there are even just a few flies flitting about him. And on his chest is a green-blue star, a symbol with, if either of you have any theology.
Nope.
I do. I have 3 grades of it with Forte in the Gods.
Okay, you instantly recognize this as the sigil of he who has many names, the 66. And as he steps in and steps over to J.C. Bram, puts his hand on his shoulder, and he says, Mr. Bram, I do believe you don't want to take him to the city court. And he looks at the Farum on the ground in disgust, utter contempt, and says, Follow me, follow Atlas, and we will take him to the temple of Helena.
My character very visibly is now shaking. No, anywhere but there. No, please.
He says, What have you to hide? Why does this make you so uncomfortable?
Please, have mercy. Anywhere but there. To your temple, perhaps. To the...
Says, No. I am but passing through. And I believe Helena and the other enforcers will be very, very interested in you. And you, Mr. Farum, he smiles with a almost toothless grin. He gets very close to your face, and you can smell his just rotten breath. He says, "I believe you'll come with us as well."
Ferrum just looks back. There's nothing he can do, and he knows it.
They bind the both of your hands, and they march you off to the temple of Helena. Excuse me. As you enter, they bring you into a large audience chamber, almost. I would say it looks much like a throne room, and there is a man sitting in the chair. His light filters through and glints off of the immaculate marble floors. Atlas, this disgusting human who's convinced J.C. Bram to bring you here, simply steps up to him and kneels for a moment, and then whispers into his ears, and they kind of perk up a tiny bit. And this bald man, sitting with the garb of Helena's priest, steps up and brings you both forward. And he says, "What are these men accused of?" Atlas steps forward and says, "This one, the Ferrum, a petty thief, a repeat offender if I am correct. An example needs to be made of him. And this other, who failed to carry out his royal duty, this man, this human, this other child of Pelgan like myself, he is guilty of something far, far worse. What have you to say for yourself?"
This is not justice. No man deserves to be beaten to death in the street for stealing a few coins.
Agreed.
He should be brought.
I care not for the coins, I care not for the gold. Who are you?
I am Bryce Lark. And
Bryce Lark. Interesting. And he seems to stare at you and stares almost past your eyes into the deep wells of your soul. And he says to you, "Where are you from, Bryce Lark?"
Trade.
Trade. Yes. Yes, I can see that. You're telling the truth so far. Who is your family?
Good people. Nice people.
I didn't ask what they were. I asked who they were. What is your real name?
I told you, it's Bryce Lark. I live with many other Larks.
The lights seem to almost dim for a moment, and the man's eyes roll back into his skull, and a voice utters forth from him. It's almost as if there's a spirit escaping from his chest as he says, "Hycro." And his eyes roll back down as he stares to you, and he says, "You are touched by luck coup, aren't you?"
My face suddenly goes from fear to absolute anger. Just enters my eyes, and fire enters my eyes. Yes, I am. And you inquisitors of Helena, you will pay. I will have your blood. I will get you. And I start struggling against the men who are holding me. I will
As
get
you do, that your friends and these guards that have brought you in, who are going to speak in your favor, you can see they're absolutely shocked and disgusted as they themselves realize that you're one of these accursed men whose tribe was created on the day of Luck Coup, a god who is now dead, who has been murdered by the enforcers, whose entire religion has been razed to the ground, temples torn down. Your god stands accused of bartering with trolls. He is touched by the shadow, and he will have nothing but death brought upon his followers. You disgust me.
You murdered my family, you and your disgusting spiders. You all killed them. I will have my vengeance. I will get
almost
you.
faster than you can believe, he cuts you off, and his hands are around your throat, and he begins to throttle you, and almost you can feel kind of the life spewing out of you, and your eyes begin to bulge for a moment, and then he stops and he says, "No. No. You will not take my blood. You will not take the blood of my followers. And I will not take your blood either." He looks over to our Ferrum friend and says, "It seems as though fate has brought the two of you together. This is an auspicious time. Neither of you will face execution in the city of Baal." He looks over to Atlas and he says, "Take them to perdition. They belong to you." Atlas grins. That toothy, disgusting smile. And he says to the both of you, brings your heads close together in his hands, and almost lovingly, he says, "You are being given an opportunity, my friends, to purify yourselves and find the true faith. You are giving the greatest opportunity that any man has ever been given. Are you not joyous?"
I will serve no god who is a servant to the Spider Queen. I will have your blood. I will have all of your blood.
And the priest, notwithstanding any more insults or threats, draws a club from his side and hits you directly on your left temple, and you fall to the ground and black out.
The Ferrum, he has no idea what the hell is going on. And he just looks at the priest and then the unconscious man. It's like, "Whoa.
Says,
What are you going to do with us?"
"We're taking you to the road to perdition.
Oh,
You will face time in the trench, my friend. The world's largest and most inhospitable prison. A very temple, a prayer itself to he who has many names. And you will be given an opportunity not for forgiveness, nothing so paltry and disgusting as that. No cheap trick such as that. You are being given an opportunity for redemption."
I want your redemption.
"I see your beard. You who spurn the gods? You will either learn the faith of he who has many names, or you will die and be taken."
I'd rather die then.
"Well, you'll get your opportunity." And with that, they come additional men dressed as Atlas is in large, these brown cloaks with this same symbol, this blue star upon their chest. One of them, a large ogre, steps forward and subdues you and begins to tie you in chains. And what you find is actually interesting. You immediately recognize these chains are made of blood iron. They have no effect on you, but they are made from this metal that your people created to annihilate the Fae. They bind Bryce as well, as he is unconscious, and they pull him and you out and load you into a cart and take you throughout the night. It takes several hours, but when you finally get outside the city and with a larger caravan, you see huge carts full of chained slaves and prisoners. There's 3 of these large carts, and there's a number of support carts as well, carrying food and water, and they begin to slowly move down the road, and you know that you will never see your home again. You will never see Baal ever, ever again. Would anyone like to offer a soliloquy? If not, that is totally fine.
my character, well, in the sort of blackness of unconsciousness, has few fleeting thoughts pass through his unconscious mind. I have failed. I should have been more careful, but how could I kill another being in cold blood, even if he is an ugly Farum? How could I kill someone right there in the crowd, in the middle of the street? I could not. But I have failed. I should have done more, but it was not to be.
The cards continue, and the sun finally begins to set, and you awake, Bryce, in the kind of last dying light of Luck Ku. And you find yourself chained next to Thalogar, the Farum who you refused to beat, the one whose life you probably saved from having his hands chopped off, for being executed publicly, from becoming a slave to someone in Bale. You don't quite know what he's avoided, but it seems as though beating him to death may have been an easier or a better solution to what you now face, the two of you. And at this point, we are going to open it up to Avastaka. And Jenny, if you can remind us the name of your character as well, is Cern, correct?
Yep.
Okay. As you have been traveling for what feels like almost weeks, your bodies are aching. You have both been chained together in these carts with others on your way to Atramenurga, the world's largest and most deadly prison. You are, as they pass through Bale, they make a stop and pick up additional prisoners. And in your cart, an odd couple, a very odd couple, is thrown in with you. This human, this man Bryce, who has these small streaks of blue in his hair, they stir something within you, Avastaka, as you are sitting next to Cern. And the others around you, they're representatives of many different races. There are the Chthon, which I believe are they have almost like a snapping turtle mouth.
Yes.
There are oh god, I'm missing the name. Not a fawn, like
Satyrs?
satyr. Yes, thank you. There are satyrs. There are humans. There are many Farum, but the four of you are sitting next to each other, and you all seem as dire as your circumstances may be, to have a little bit more life in your eyes. The others are resigned and full of fear. Avastaka, you can smell the fear on everyone. You can feel it, but it's not the type of fear that you would like to taste or devour. It's almost sickening. It is the taste of defeat, spiritual defeat.
I certainly am feeling it's succumbing to some degree the aspect of spiritual defeat that they feel, but upon feeling that pungent stench, the sickening sensation, I attempt to sort of redouble my effort and regain my own mental fortitudes to not be allowed to be plunged into a hell of my own mind, at least to know there will be a moment to struggle, to fight, to survive. But I look at this newcomer with this blue hair, I look at him oddly. At that, should we do any sort of character descriptions for the likes?
Yes, please. If everybody could go around and give a nice description of what you look like.
All right. So, and about 100 pounds. He's a Mihangi, as the picture may well lead one to notice. His green eyes and bright red hair, which for most of you is probably, if you've even ever seen a Mihangi at all, extraordinarily uh, odd looking. We're not sure if it's somehow dyed or what exactly the situation is, but you've likely never seen a Mihangi that didn't have straight black hair. He is in good shape, trim. He has long, I have long fangs and an aggressive yet slightly morose look on my face. Certainly aggression vacillating with a gravity that is almost to the point of depression etched upon my features as I sit there shifting between resigned and predatory aspect lingers heavily about him as is a desire to perhaps sate his growling belly. I would definitely be appraising the human. The feral holds little interest to me and is, in fact, quite repugnant in the way that it smells. Certainly no edible morsel there. So those are certainly the thoughts as I sort of move around, resembling more of a caged animal than a caged man.
And Cern, can you go ahead and give us a description and your thoughts on your new companions? Oh, I think you're muted.
She's immediately recognizable as Kalfar. Her skin is an almost translucent lavender with a smear of navy freckles, long blue-black hair, and she looks much the worse for wear, completely filthy and broken down. In the sunlight, she keeps her chin tilted down, so the majority of her hair falls over her face as to protect herself from the light. Eyes barely open and shoulders hunched forward. She looks almost like a wounded animal. Her clothing is equally filthy and torn, and it was clearly once of good quality, and maybe a little too fashionable, a little flashy, a gossamer kind of cape made of gray material and black leggings that seem to be made from the skin of some kind of reptile. And as there are new entries into their caged space, she kind of slowly looks up and squints in the bright light to examine them to see if they're worth anything, and then very quickly looks back down, keeping her back firmly to most everyone else with them.
Okay. Thalogar, he stands at about 4 feet, pretty much the average size of a Farum. A long, quite dirty beard. There's some dreads in there. Someone hasn't combed it for quite a while. He is probably one of the most ugly Farums you've ever laid your eyes on. His clothes is, it's pretty much rags, a bit of leather here and there. He does have his fingers around a ring, though, and he kind of toys with it all the time as he looks into the cage, into this temporary prison. He looks at the human that, oddly enough, saved his life. But there's no gratitude. There's no joy. There's just spite. And he looks to the others, and they're all just pathetic creatures, just like he is. He sits down, if he can, back against the wall, and just lowers his head, looks to the ground, looks up to the red-haired one. and keeps back to himself.
The caravan eventually... Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've already done this description of my character. However, now his attractive features are marred by a big cut and bruise on the side of his left temple, and blood is drying on it, and he only weakly looks around and falls back into unconsciousness soon after.
Days pass as you travel south from Bale. The caravan takes an entire day to cross the Red River and into the Desert of Ash. It's a place like nothing you've ever seen. Desolate, hot, and yet so very close to the city of Bale. As the days pass and the food is distributed, the differences in the diets of each of your species become readily apparent as they pass out meat that is almost spoiled. It's all been cooked to within an inch of its life. It's hard, disgusting, and doesn't satisfy any of you. The hunger persists for days on end as you sit in the cart and bake in the sun. The terrain slowly becomes more and more difficult to traverse as you enter into the Badlands. And after many weeks of passing through this desert, with few encounters with any other life, you can see, if you put your head just through the bars of this cage that you're sitting in, you can see something glittering in the distance. It's odd. It's a city, but it's not like Bale. It's not like Trade. It's not like any city that you've ever seen in your life. Strange geological formations pepper the land on the way to this city, and you can see enormous steel buildings standing out of the middle of nowhere. It's not an oasis. It's a harder place than this desert. You can't imagine how anything could survive out here, let alone some sort of a civilization. And these steel buildings reflect the sun, and they blind you, Cern. It is so oppressive. And as you get farther and farther and closer to it, you can see that there are huge rocks jutting up in this city alongside these buildings. And in the center you can see what looks like a giant mouth of stone towering in the city. And as you are pulled through the streets, these 3 carts of prisoners, you can see that the majority of the population in this city are slaves. They are in chains, much like you. And you pass through, and you're taken on a road that is close to the perimeter of the city, the outside of it. And that's when you come upon it, the fabled trench. This moat that surrounds the city of Atramenurga, deeper than you can possibly see from your vantage point, with razor-sharp rocks along its edges, serves as almost a natural border around this city. It is a U shape. And you have no idea why you're being taken on this tour until it begins to set in that you're meant to stare upon it. You're meant to look at it and know that this is where you will spend the rest of your life in bondage. You are not a slave. The slaves here are freer than you will be. They can at least walk the city streets. They can at least find a cup of water. You will have no such fate. There are so many different species walking these streets. There are others, aside from the slaves, the others look incredibly opulent, so wealthy, and it doesn't make much sense because there are no resources in this blasted land that you are staring upon. How any sort of functioning economy could possibly be working here is absolutely beyond you. And eventually the carts are pulled along another route, deeper into the city, to where you're between these strange steel buildings, these large steel structures, and you can see looming ahead of you is that gigantic, cavernous mouth of stone. And within it, as you get closer and closer and closer, you can see statues. Statues of the 66, the angel of all angels, he who has many names. And you realize that you're being brought to the holiest site on the entire surface of Kavega Thale, to the religion of he who has many names. The priests make signs and offerings as they come closer and closer to this place. And finally, you begin to realize the other two carts are gone, and it's just yours being pulled to the center. And finally, they stop at the mouth of the cavern, and they open the cart. One of the priests of He Who Has Many Names steps up and begins to yank the chains and pull you out of the carts, roughly, more violently, aggressively.
Bloody. Is he human? Just by any...
Yes.
Okay. Goddamn bloody humans.
One of them immediately recoils from the shrieks, but it gets kind of his resolve back for a second and pulls your chain even harder, and that blood iron scrapes against your flesh and saps what little strength you have left. They pull the four of you and several others with you into this temple, farther and farther and farther, until finally you're brought before a man. This man, Yvastakar and Cern have both seen. He appears human almost in his features, except that he has horns protruding from his forehead. He looks almost as if he's been influenced by some great evil or some great demonic power to make this transformation of his features. And he pulls you out, and you're brought to a passageway. You can feel air blowing over you. And he steps you forward and says, "You have been sentenced to the passage to perdition. You have but one chance to save your life, and that is to find the true faith of He Who Has Many Names. Your last words as free men and women are to be spoken now. Though you sit in chains, you now wear more freedom than you will, possibly for the rest of your life. What have you to say?"
Thalogar, he still plays with that ring he has to the ground. Some bloody coppers. Some bloody coppers.
"You will find no metals to stare upon in the trench. You will find only death or faith."
Death it is then.
"We are happy to oblige you." And with that, he actually rips you forward on your chains, kicks you in front of him, and you can see now that ahead of you is what looks like a black stone ahead of you, just flat black stone that then drops down. And when you look over, you can kind of see that this is a stairway leading down into the trench. And he says, "Have you no faith in any of the gods?"
He looks up. What are they good for? Can't you see the beard? And he kind of holds it up with pride.
This man with horns just kind of moves his head down close to your ear and says, "Impious souls are a favorite of he who has many names." And he kicks you forward onto this black stone, and as soon as you step upon it, unimaginable pain racks your entire body. You cannot even move. You can hardly breathe. All you can do is try to move away from the pain. And as you do, you tumble down over the edge of this stone, dropping another 6 feet onto the next one below you. The pain, though dulled slightly, is still indescribably horrible, and you find yourself again looking for the only way to get away from this pain, and you fall another 6 feet down the step. This happens for 11 steps. Your body, you can hear this man screaming, and just it's horrifying to you. It's grating on your eardrums, and you know that this is what awaits you. Bryce is next. He pulls you forward, and he says, though you may never have had faith in Laku, you are unfortunately touched by him. Your very being wears his stain, and he will not be tolerated. Dead gods are not to be tolerated. And he kicks you forward onto this step, and the pain, it sears in your bone. The marrow is almost evaporating inside of you. And again, you tumble down these 11 steps until finally you reach the bottom. Yavastakar, he pulls you forward. He spits in your face.
I kind of lunge for him and bite him. I'm sure that doesn't go well for me.
It does not. He's almost quicker than you, and he manages to kind of clock you right in the face. He says, "Your kind disgust me even without this red blood upon your head. It is my pleasure to kick you down to your destiny." And he kicks you upon the first step. The pain sears your mind. Your eyes feel as though they will burst from your skull. Blood begins to pour out of your ears as you tumble down these steps into the depths, into the trench, into your fate that you will never escape.
I say, as I'm falling and trying to focus in on my piety, trying to take that religiosity into myself, I look up towards him. And the dying light, the setting sun, your angel's light shall fade to grey. As I tumble down, falling, hitting onto the ground, convulsing, and in the utter pain of it.
You can hear his voice echoing down into the trench, simply laughing. And finally, Cern. He brings you forward. And he gets very close to your face. And he says, your kind, the Kalfar, I've known many of you, an honorable people, but a worship of the dawn,
I can be useful. Nothing.
You said to me in the city of trade.
To me than awesome.
He said, and you said that to me in trade. And the bitch that is responsible for the death of Ahura Mazda, the greatest sin in history. A crime that Nithraxu himself could not even stop. She let Ahriman across the Dawn Bridge. You worship the god that killed the sun.
And I embrace her shame.
Then you embrace your own death, and he kicks you down the stairs.
She tumbles, she reaches out, and it's noticeable that she only has one arm. Her right arm's been severed from the elbow down, and the purple skin gleams silver from the scar tissue, and when she hits, she starts hissing and screaming and falls into high-pitched wails.
As this happens, it almost feels like the top of your head is going to, like, pop off, to explode. Your brain matter will splatter everywhere until finally, after tumbling down 11 of these 6-foot-high steps that are causing you such pain and misery, you reach the bottom of the trench. It's dark and it's hot, and as you all sit, your chains unclink and fall to the ground. And you look up, and there are hundreds and hundreds of hungry mouths staring at you. Frayeans, Chthons, Mihan-Gi, humans, Farum, Ogre, all of them are here. All of them. They are lean beyond any measure that you thought imaginable, almost to the point of starvation, as they look upon your flesh hungrily.
I recover rather surprisingly quickly, and I rise to my feet, standing before the heap of the bodies of those who've been thrown down the steps. I stand before them and between them and these hungry people, and I put out my arms and I, with my fists in the air, stay back. I will not be taken down so easily.
The Farum rises. It's like, get out of the way, what are you doing? And he sees the hungry eyes, and he sees the lust. Oh God, what is this hell? And he takes a step back.
It is just that, as I slowly stand on my feet. It is hell. At least it's a gaping maw, yawning with filthy breath. We are damned, at least in the flesh. Keep whole and prosperous your spirit, so that some better divine thing than the fly angel may come to rescue you. The psychopomps of this place are surely grave and terrifying. And I look around and I look at some of the other people that are coming towards us, and I start hardening my eyes on them, ready to lunge out and have them for food instead.
So Cern's the last one to her feet, and she kind of looks up, finally opening her eyes for the first time, and is completely awestruck by the sight. She's more than happy to stay behind the rest of them as they face the horde. And she just shakes her head and says under her breath, what could I possibly have gotten myself into?
As you are all sitting there looking and realizing the dangerous and precarious position that you're in, the others begin to kind of advance on you. Their hungry eyes. You can see there's several of these disgusting, just totally Cern beneath you. They're the Chthon. They're the most easily enslaved of the peoples in the underworld. Yet they are extremely dangerous themselves. These snapping turtle jaws, clicking and clacking together. The tiny little tongues you can see flitting about in their mouths, their beaks as they step forward with lust, hunger, and dread within their eyes. And just as the crowd is about to rush and devour you, a totally serene voice pierces out over all of them and says, "These men and women shall not be touched by this crowd." And the Chthons kind of stop for a moment, and they look around, and the crowd parts, and a 5'5" Frayean man steps forward. He looks almost emaciated, and yet there is a hardness to his features as he steps forward. The usual attractive air that surrounds the Frayean, the beauty that is so characteristic of their species, seems to have been dulled here. And he steps forward and looks out to the crowd, and he says, "You will disperse, or the peace of Dazazea will be denied, all of you." And finally the crowd slowly grumbles and disperses. And that's when the smell hits you. The death and the shit of this place is horrifyingly disgusting. You look up at the walls around you, it is this naturally occurring hellhole that you have been placed into, this moat that surrounds the city. You can see that the walls are made of razor-sharp rocks. There are those who are dead, lying dying and starving in the streets. Others, you can see, have been half devoured by the other predatory creatures that live in this prison. And as you look around, you can see caves offshooting everywhere from this main trench. And much of the crowd disperses into these. And the Frayean and a large, very, very lean ogre step up to you. And they say, "Into Julian, welcome. Welcome home."
I look around at the bodies laying openly on the ground around, and the horrible stench of death permeates my senses, and I feel the flashbacks coming back of people being beaten in the streets and murdered before my eyes, and I kind of recoil at the bodies and kind of back up quickly.
You can hear a stone drop falling onto the ground as Thalogar just drops it. He picked it up in order to defend himself, and he looks around the bodies, the horror, the smell still in his nose. Who are you? Why?
The Frayean steps forward. And he says, "My name is Kaladan. I am a priest of Dazazea. I run the church here, and you have been taken under my wing. I offer you my protection and my hospitality, what little there is in this place."
Well, I'm not gonna say no to that. He looks a bit like he grudgingly gives him a nod. Thanks, I suppose.
I think
Cern
that,
picks up and peeks her head around the others and says, "Your protection? Here? What price?"
No price. I serve Dazazea. I try to bring tranquility to those in their journey in the trench.
I do not wish your goddess, do not wish your presence, if less you wish to bring yourself closer, for your smell does excite me tremendously. Frayean, and I sort of start slowly, just almost slithering towards the figure. Your goddess is not a friend of mine. I am the friend of your goddess. Still, we can be friends. Just, if you wish to step just a few more left with me to this cavern, we can get well acquainted for a moment. And I smell in the beautiful, rich, ample bouquet of the smell of Frayean, that dazzling wine that delights on my tongue and in my nostrils, and they move closer, closer, predatorily stalking this wonderful, beautiful meal that has been afforded in the form of the goddess of weakness and flowers. So I say, yes, I smell you like your goddess, and yes, it's delightful. So...
As you get closer and closer, you're suddenly aware that the shade that you're standing in, the sun cannot be seen inside the trench at the moment. It is not directly overhead, but it's almost as if a greater shadow looms over you, and you hear the deepest and most terrifying voice you've heard in your entire life. "That's close enough, Mianki."
I look up, kind of surprised, as the butterflies fill my stomach.
And you're staring at this ogre, and he says, "Your kind can also find peace, either in a ditch with the other bodies, or through the goddess Dazazea. But you will not feast upon this Fae. For if you do, I shall feast upon you."
I get a very aggressive look, bringing the fearsomeness of my countenance to bear, but slowly I begin to slide back on my heels as the overwhelming presence of the enormous ogre starts trembling me, and I begin to wonder if perhaps I'm not the predator in the situation. Though I certainly the hairs on my head are raised, and ferocity. Perhaps I am the hyena now, and this is the lion, but I still show that I have teeth to bite.
The Frayean Kaladan does not even seem fazed at all by the posturing by the two of you, and he simply steps forward and puts his hand on your chest and says, "I will not force you to accompany me. I will not force you to join my church and find peace. You are welcome. But do not think..." Yeah, and he says, "But do not think that I am a meal to be had."
All right, so I take my hand and take my nose, since it touched my chest, and I kind of pull away slightly and then run my nose like on his hand down like this. And my stomach just roars with need for hunger, for flesh, for the wine of its blood.
Priest, I know of the wolf fairy's hunger. I have seen it before in the streets of trade. Do not mess with him. Find us food quickly, please. I'm so hungry.
He says, yes, of course, my hospitality. Come with me, please." And with that, he just withdraws his hand, with no fear, away from this wolf fairy, and begins to walk away in the shadow of this giant ogre. And he leads you through the trench, and you can see the hungry eyes staring at you. And there are some who make signs of deference and holy gestures towards Kaladan the Frayean. You can see that there are many who follow his church almost out of fear. not something that you would usually associate with the goddess of tranquility. And he brings you into a cave. You have to climb some crudely carved steps that sit in the side of the trench, and brings you up into a cave that has a few beaten stones within it that look as if you might be able to comfortably find a way to sit on them, as if they've been ground down, beaten into in only the crudest manner possible to make some semblance of furniture. You may have experienced poverty in your life. Our Ferrum friend here has certainly experienced poverty in the growing up in the ghettos of Bale, but nothing like this. This isn't even a roof over your head. This is a hole in the ground.
Savagery.
Says, really? Would you like to see the other accommodations that are available in this prison?
No, that's all right. This'll do fine for right now. And Cern reaches out with her one hand and grabs the back of Bryce's shirt, looking around, paranoid, afraid of everything, apparently.
As you turn back towards me, I go, towards you. Sort of taking some of my aggression out towards a Kalfar for the filthy, despicable sort of creature it is to begin with.
Yes. If you have some food, I would more than gladly pay you for the service. I'm excellent at cooking. I will cook up whatever you have, and
You
for
pathetic.
your people.
He says, yes, of course. And he motions to the ogre, and the ogre steps deeper into the cave, and you hear a crunch as he pulls the freshly killed body of a satyr from the back of the room out to you, that looks almost emaciated, just skin and bones at this point. But he says, "Can you cook this?"
My character, I've never cooked a sentient flesh before, but yes, I will if that is required.
I look at
Well,
it
you're not-
very hungrily.
A satyr is a humanoid, right?
Correct. Yes, it's a man with horns, and the kind of the bottom half of him is the legs of like a goat. He has hooves.
Oh, okay, so typical soda. Thalogar, would you step back? You're eating them?
What? I don't know. I have to warn you, I'm not the greatest cook, especially with this, but I will. I think it's best that our wolf fairy friend is satisfied.
I slide up to it.
Cern starts poking the human in the back. No, he's just being modest. It'll be delicious, I promise.
I slide up and sort of push past both of you. I do not like cooked food. And I'll grab at the things like left leg, kind of feel at that, and feel at the body. Oh, yes, here we are, right on the right flank of it, and then up towards its rib cage. And I bite my teeth into the filthy, despicable flesh. Starved, so hungry, so aroused to a feeding frenzy by the frayed smell of blood and delicious taste. I bite into the foul satyr. How putrefied is it? How loathsome?
Well, it was like literally like just killed.
Oh, well, that's very good.
Yeah.
It's the custom of Nihongi. I do not care for cooked food. And I begin to devour, biting into it with my long, wolf-like fangs, ripping a hunk of flesh out, not like a man, but like a beast, covering my mouth with scarlet blood. I grab it kind of with my mouth, like I said, just rip it off, and my mouth hinges much larger than, say, a human's would to accommodate a much larger bite velocity, and just ripping, breaking into the ribs and bones, and yanking them back with strong neck muscles, to leaving bits of flesh and blood against my alabaster skin that has been tainted ever so slightly by the rays of the sun. As I begin to eat it, being able to pull down the blood down my gullet, just snapping it back like an animal. As a bone snap and break in my mouth, giving me the delicious aftertaste of the marrow.
As with a sort of morbid curiosity, Thalogar watches as this, or can't be anything else but a monster, devours this poor man, or the satyr. It's like, what the hell's... What? You're disgusting!
The Frayean actually steps between Yavasta and Thalogar, and he says, "The cuisine on hand, not all of us are able to eat as you, Farum. Not all of us are able to devour iron when we starve. Myself, I had to develop a taste for flesh. It made me vomit at first. I've never eaten anything but vegetation, flowers," and you can kind of see this look of longing in his face, and he sits there and he says, "Nothing grows here. They do not feed the prisoners. What do you think that crowd was going to do with all of you down there? I saved you. I have extended my hospitality to you, and I will not have it rejected."
The Farum looks intimidated. He takes a step back. Oh, no. I'm grateful you saved us down there, but you cannot expect me to eat that. I would not. And he looks as the wolf fairy feeds, looks in disgust. No. I eat rocks, iron. I don't care leather.
You can see almost like a wild fury in this Frayean's eyes, and that is totally in complete contrast to the usual visage of his people, which is so calm, so collected, so tranquil. They're known for being almost detached from their emotions, but you can see there's nothing even masking it. There's just pure, almost rage. And he says, "And you, Kelfar? And you, Clayman? Will you reject my hospitality? Shall I throw you out on the street and declare you meat for the others?"
No, thank you so much. It'll be delicious.
Do you have any idea how insulted I am?
I suppose I can...
It is very good. Yes, very good.
From underneath this kind of ragged old robe that he's wearing, a bone knife is suddenly in his hands, and he puts it to your neck, Bryce. And he says, "What? You're what?"
I will...
Do you not have a tongue? And he pries your mouth open and sticks his knife in there and kind of lifts your tongue up. He says, "No." "Then why are you stammering? Answer me! Shall I throw you out on the street? Shall I feed you to this wolf fairy, this disgusting, despicable creature next to me?"
No, I will cook it. It will be... I will cook it. You won't even know it's...
Fine.
It's
Great.
a satyr.
Fine. And he's just instantly tranquil again, and he hands you the knife in his hand, and he says, "Then please, by all means, get to work. I'm starving."
Yes. Do you, don't suppose you have any spices down here? I don't eat them. He kind of just waves it away.
And he looks at you, and he's like stone serious, and he says, "Oh, spices, yes, of course, I have spices. I also have a ladder that allows me up into the city, where I can commune with the kiosses and the slaves and the others."
It was a joke. Nothing meant by it. I'll get to work.
Of course, of course. The tranquility of Dasasea, please be upon you.
I
he
gorge
smiles.
myself wonderfully upon this well-offered reward. While I feel no peace from Dasasea and her foulness, I am pleased to sate my appetite and to plot on how I might kill this or other Frayans and eat them.
I grimly go about the task. Almost any sort of will left in his eyes is slowly draining away as I try to imagine that it is just a pig that I am butchering on the ground, and I get about the grim task of I stay far away from the mouth of this wolf fairy, but I cut into the flesh as best I can and start making good slices to put in a pot, perhaps, if there is such a thing.
You, human, why do you so profane the meat? It's wondrous. Just stick your face down in there and take your fill. Eat it all. Eat the ribs, crack the bone, and drink what's inside. Oh, yes, it's delightful when you engage yourself on a primal basis. Do not know that colors that touch us from the heavens are the same colors as blood. It's glorious. I'm like rubbing the satyr's body sensually around the chest as I repose now, fully sated from the much flesh that I have devoured.
I attempt to change the subject quickly, as I do not want to think about what I am cutting up. You are a follower of Laku? How? Me?
Yes,
one
indeed.
of the wolf fairies?
Indeed, I am.
Possible?
There are many of us there, upon the high peak, upon the tip of the spire. I have come not so long ago, and I have met him, the prophet of the God resurrected, and he has shown me the bath. He has shown me the blood and a bloody baptism reborn. Do you not see the mark I wear, the cap of red? Oh, it was amazing, opening new panels of opportunity and new vistas of understanding, even into so treading into the lit world where that burning ball, or that dead dragon that has damned the world, or that is not touching me. Ah, I can see things so new and smell things with such veracity. Oh, and you, human, you smell delightful too. Your fear is palpable, sensual, delightful as it tickles the inside of my nose. But what do you know of my God? What do you know? For there's only one human I have ever met that knew of him, and he was a prophet by name of Ayadun. You are no Ayadun.
My father, Lavin, once served the temple of Laku in the city of trade. But I'm sorry, you speak nonsense. Laku has died many cycles ago. I do not know what you speak of. I'm sorry.
He is dead, but he has come back yet again to touch the heavens. Do you not see it? When it comes round, do you not see red? Do you not see purple and pink? Do you not see orange dance past the glow of the heavens as the sun slides down and is taken beneath the world? Do you not see it? It's there, I assure you. And if you doubt me, just keep looking up till it comes round swinging again upon the breeze. And then you'll see in glorious truth the rapture of your mind as you see he who is dusk has been reborn with a crown to come for all the bloody followers and weaklings, for these mindless enforcers who are themselves but slaves like cold iron. They are loathsome abominations, and he is fighting them, and I stand with him, with the carnage, with the pain, and with the blood that I take, and I will snap every bone and every portion of them. If they fall into this pit, I will feast upon the maggots that call themselves children of he who has many names, and I will give him one more name, the Dead One, for Laku, the god that is resurrected. Perhaps you will come to know through my voice, human, as I have come to know through the voice of one of your kind, the truth of beauty that lies in the face of the purple rose.
He speaks a lot, but I'll tell you, the dawn is much better looking.
I like step up like right in your face. Dawn, ha! You speak of spite and lies. You speak with one whose tongue may as well be Latif. El Psalm, ha! You bastard mixed freak, something never meant to be. Damnable by the gods are you, Kalfar. As I smell
Kaladan steps forward and says, "Damned, yes, by two jealous and petty gods. I apologize, Dasaseya, for my transgression there, but it was the sins of our people. Our peoples. It is not her fault for her condition. She bears no responsibility in what she is. But our heritage, our ancestors, we do bear that stain."
You are nothing, Frayean, but a mockery of my blood, of my people, a well-lit reflection of a dark pond. Do not come to me as cousin or brother. You are nothing but food. You may still have stand with a power advantage at the moment, but all moments change.
All moments change. You are suggesting that we be enemies here.
Oh,
I
no.
who have opened my home
We are
and
not
my
enemies.
cult of friendship to you.
I'm safe.
You are leaving yourself with very few options. Should you try to climb those steps?
I turn and look at him.
I could have you killed at any moment. While you dream, while you're awake,
Aye.
you dream of feasting upon my blood. I know that.
Indeed, I do.
But I too have acquired a taste for flesh.
Thought so.
Most of my kind starve when they get here. Their bodies can't even take the meat. But my body, I have grown strong, and I have eaten your kind before.
Oh, true perversion.
So I give you this chance. Stay here. Accept my friendship. Accept the law of Dazazeya. Accept tranquility. Or else step outside into the sunlight that will bear down on your kind oppressively and try to climb those stairs.
Oh, I look
There
back.
are two options that you have here. You die in the trench, or you turn to he who has many names, and you climb those steps as you cry out his name in prayer, as you sell your soul to the angel that devoured his own kind.
I swallow hard. And I turn and look.
He says, "For there is no other escape from this place. I offer you peace and tranquility. That is all you can hope to have here. There is no way out.
I tremble ever so vaguely, ever so slightly under the oppressive force of his words. And I look back toward the steps, remembering as they wash over me the memory of falling, the pain that was unimaginable, knowing I do not ever want that again. And I just kind of shut my mouth and kind of slide back from the body a little and keep my eyes on him.
May I ask what has brought all of you here? What crimes you have committed?
Crime of being a Ferrum, as Thalogar speaks the first words in quite a while, chewing down on the shackles. He is hungry.
Just a little misunderstanding of trade, and I can't help it if so many people resent Al-Sam. Are jealous.
He says only the truly dangerous are sent here. No one here escaped execution. They were sent here to live in pain. But if you reject the pain, you can beat he who has many names. He lies far below us, lower probably than either of your two peoples, as he says, pointing to Thalogar and Cern, have ever lived or dreamt of digging your cities. But he is down there, and if your spirit breaks here, you're a living prayer and testament to his being. You give him power.
Sacrifices to mad gods.
I did nothing wrong. I spared this being's life.
I got a name, you know.
What? I'm sorry? What was it?
Thalogar. I'm not a being. I have a name.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Yes, Thalogar. I spared his life when I was asked to kill him in the streets, and this is what my loyalty to the House of Bram has brought me, and I am also here for the crime of simply being a member of the clan of Hycro, and neither of these are crimes, and I will make the Inquisitors of Helena, I will make them pay. I will make them and her lackey gods, like this he who has many names, I will make them pay.
An entertaining thought, that is. We have all thought it. At times, I still have it. I have been here for many cycles. I wish to save you some of the anticipation. You will not escape from this place. You will not bring vengeance upon anything. The only thing that you can hope to do is to save your own soul. Prepare your soul for the afterlife, so his servants do not find you and take you down into the underworld, past the underworld, into the pit of hell, where the immortal trolls lay in their death-like slumber. That is the only fate that awaits you, unless you guard your soul. You bring this tranquility into your life.
Somehow, I will find my faith again. But in the Dazazea, I do not know.
Hold on to your hate, Bryce. Might do us some favors.
What does it worship, human? You have spoken of Laku, but you seem not to know his as alive as the setting sun. At least it's dying.
At this point, the sun is setting as well. It's going into nighttime.
I look up at it with exhilaration, as if it's somehow liberating me from ever so slight amount of the pain that I'm being subjected to. And I look up to it and just shiver. That is where I find my tranquility, Christ. They are glazed upon the face of the heavens, and that purple time. You feel it, human. You feel it.
His words move me, but I look somewhat skeptical. I say, I've seen the sun set for many cycles, the twilight, but it was not there on that twilight before the feast of the ever dawn. It was not there to save my father Lavin and my brother Ryan, or any others when the Inquisition of Dusk came to the City of Trade. It did not save them. Their faith in Laku did not save them at that time.
What do you think faith is? You think faith is a blanket of steel mail you pull over yourself? Faith is a strength to stand up and fight till you are gone for your God, so he may preserve you in heaven, so his psychopomps may come strong, sliding through the ethereal, through the worlds of the dead, to come and claim you and call you back, so the demons of dusk may liberate you from the burning hands of wrathful angels. Do not be a coward, you weak-blooded, short-lived piece of meat. Rejoice in the fact that you have the opportunity to touch the sky if you pray, if you work, if you try hard enough. There is what you find in faith, not in a God that will scream down and save your life. Pray that your fathers and his fathers were strong enough to find salvation and sainthood, and know that there, in the dead blood of a God upon the top of the spire, we are being reborn of faith anew, like a God that rises.
Don't let him confuse you, man. Zealots have thrown us down here. Zealots will not help us escape.
Ah, what do you know?
He looks over to the red-headed man. I know the gods do not offer any sort of serenity or help. What are they good for then?
Good for blasphemy. Find yourself here hopeless. What do you think you'll do when you wind up in the bottom of that pit that he's talking about? You'll be torn, your soul eviscerated and taken, with nothing to come and save you. I'm right with my God, and if I die now, I know where I'm going. But you got nothing. I even respect you more than him, lass.
He the Ferrum just smiles. You misunderstand. I don't plan to die in here. I'm not giving that satisfaction.
Well, good. I respect that at least. And you, I look towards Cern. Pitiful when I shake my head at you.
She just glares at him and remains coward.
Just shake my head, just like,
I know I will not die in here. I will make them pay.
I think you're going to be eaten. I can smell it on you. You're so afraid. It's lovely. And I wish I could chase you through here and heighten you to the point you're about to fall over with your heart exploding in your chest, and then I could slowly eat the nice, supple meat around your kidneys and the back flanks. Oh, child, you are ripe, and you're just a pretty young human boy, aren't you? And I think you'd be delightful to taste and touch and feel and suck upon. But you're not the kind of stuff of this place. This Ferrum thing over here, well, at least it's strong as iron. And hell, no one wants to eat it anyway. It stinks. It's disgusting smelling. Wouldn't eat that meat. I'd starve myself before I tasted it. But you, oh, I feel differently. At least, perhaps you'll find comfort in the purple rose. And I slide towards you, just almost wraith-like in the way that it seems I almost don't really move, and I'm kind of closer than I ought to be, quite quickly too. And I lean in and just start smelling you.
I see you do this, and you've now pushed me into a corner. My fear dissolves as my anger sort of overcomes me. You do not know where I come from or what I have been through. I will make it out of here. I will, and I will make them pay. You will see those ugly, disgusting spiders of Helena and their inquisitor lackeys. I will make them pay, and I will make them suffer for what they did to my family and my people. I will.
Oh, I remember having this exact conversation. Of course, the names were different. The enemies, of course, were different. I've had it a dozen times with a dozen members, a number of people just like you. Many of them are dead. Many of them are dead. Some of them have seen the light that Dazazea has to offer. But you know where each and every one of them is, regardless of living or dead? Here. None of them have escaped. Just come with me. Let me show you something. And he and the ogre, his what seems now like ogre bodyguard, who's never more than just a few paces from him, stride out of the cave. As you have kind of completed this meal of having cooked this satyr meat, and those of you who could stomach to even think about eating it, having filled that almost empty pit in the bottom of your stomach.
And
Thalogar has not touched that thing.
For those of you who do eat it, it is delicious. I mean, as delicious as, as long as you're not thinking about what it is incredibly well cooked delicacy. Very, very tasty, but horrific at the same time.
So who actually is eating it? I suppose you. Are you going to eat that, Cern?
Cern very cautiously nibbles at it, but looks absolutely mortified and ashamed that she's eating the food of slaves.
I'm sorry, it's not very good, is it? I'm not that great of a cook. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. We all make our own fate, I suppose, but I never thought I'd be at this station.
Yes, I had hoped that I would take them down from the inside, as one might say, but I've failed in my mission, and I have failed my family. Tell me, I am curious of all of you. I'm looking for. I've not had the chance to make it out of the city of Baal in many cycles. I'm looking for others of my kind, who, maybe my family, maybe my relatives. Have you seen any of them?
Other humans?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen them.
The only one I've seen is responsible for me being here.
Oh, true.
Humans.
I
There's
hear
so
they're
few
not.
of you outside of the cities. You swarm there like cockroaches, insects almost. No respect for proper mating and breeding practices. Taking on multiple wives. How many wives do you have?
I have none. But I'm
Lie. Do not lie. You tell a prayer to Loptif. You got at least 11 at home, don't you?
A human male with no wives.
I don't believe it either.
Well, perhaps you do not know how young I am. I am only 94 cycles old. I'm not a old human by any stretch. If you've not seen my kind before, I can understand. But no, I do not.
We don't allow your kind.
Much like many of my clan, I do feel guilt. But
Guilt?
no, I did not.
Guilt's not a bad thing. What do you feel guilty about?
You know, and a great many things, of course.
Oh,
I quick time out.
why don't you tell us all about them?
We're all speaking to Julian, I believe. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. That's the only language that I think you're all sharing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just I figured that might be helpful to know and helpful for the audience at home.
Yes, yes. Speaking the language of Tehul, the Ferrum language.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, I've guilt about many things in my life. Failing my family, not being there for my mother in her time of grief, for the loss of my father and my brother. But I will make it right. Somehow, someday, I will make it out.
By right, you mean you want to destroy the enforcers?
Oh, yes, all of them, and their accursed followers, the lackeys of the disgusting she-bitch that Helena. They will suffer.
I come over towards you again and kind of put my arm on you, like here, my hand, and I'm not tremendously strong by any stretch of imagination, but I say, well, then be knowing this, there's an army, a slowly forming man by man, woman by woman, and they're there, one by one, praising the dusk, and an army and a war is coming. It looms assuredly upon the etching shadow of the sky, as does the vengeance that must follow. At
But
least
one thing is sure, neither of you will see that, as he walks you outside and shows you the walls leading up into the light of Lukku, the
I'm all
dusk.
disenchanted when I see that. When I look up at the dusk. Well, you see, even here they can't take that from me. At least for one more night. At least one more time.
And you, Kalfar, is there any army amassing for the dawn? Sometimes when I look up, I can't tell if there's any difference between the dusk and the dawn. Only that slight interminable period of total, utter blackness in the perfection of Ahriman's peace.
We don't need to brag as much as that, because our numbers speak for themselves, and every day Al-Sam grows stronger, every time a heart breaks, which is surely constant. The difference between the dawn and the dusk is there's beauty in the dawn, and there's only ending in dusk.
Careful with your tongue, Stumpy.
You hear a giggle from the Ferrum at the end of the group.
I'm not embarrassed. I lost it, and she holds up her stump. I lost it in the service of Al-Sam, and I'm not ashamed.
Do tell, do tell. Was it in the service of harvesting one of the souls of my brothers and sisters?
Well, maybe it's a story for another time. We've only just met, and
Another time? All you have is time. What difference does it make if you say it now or 20 cycles from now? You will still be here, standing in this spot, under my protection.
Well,
You offend me again, Kalfar. First
No,
by your
no,
very
no,
presence,
no,
and
please.
now...
Please. I lost it when I tried to make a deal, and all I wanted was a bit of merchandise, and she wanted something a little more. My heart, my soul, and, well, you know how Frayean can be about love.
It is something saved and preserved but for one. I
As it should be.
was married once. She was here. She's still here. Dead. I can only hope that her soul has found peace and tranquility. And what of you, Ferrum? What will happen to your soul when you pass? Will no gods, no servitors of those divinities come to save you from the clutches of he who has many names?
He,
Will your
looks
life
up-
be completely devoid of any meaning but those coins that you have coveted?
He, looks up as his plays with a ring around his pinky finger. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. All I know is that's not the place I want to die. All I know is, well, the one god made her lose her arm, the other one makes people insane, and another wants to sacrifice us for he who has many names. If that's my choice, I choose neither.
An interesting perspective. I've never heard one of your kind explain that thought so eloquently.
No, we usually don't really like to talk about it. But I see no harm. What does it matter here? Words can't escape, right?
The dusk is slowly fading out, and the one of the eyes of Ahriman is beginning to just peek over the top of the trench. And as you look up, you can see silhouetted against it, the edge of the walls look as if they're like there's something moving, like the rocks themselves are crawling. You can't quite tell what it is, except for maybe our Mihon-gi, our wolf fairy, who can see very, very clearly in the dark, and our Kalfar, who can also see. You can see on the walls what appears to you to just be millions and millions of maggots crawling across the top, crawling in and out of small crevices as you move down the walls. And you can see that there is the half-devoured skeletal frame of someone who had climbed maybe 2/3 of the way up the wall, stuck, ribcage broken open on a sharp rock, hanging from that rock as maggots are devouring what is left of the flesh.
What's that? I can't see.
Frayean, what is that disgusting? What is that thing? What are those things? What is in the shadows? I cannot see. It is so dark.
What awaits you for when you eventually try to make your escape, as everyone always does.
The Ferrum chuckles. No, Ferrums don't get eaten.
He says, believe me, these maggots do not discriminate. They will eat the flesh, they don't do it for food.
Why do they do it then?
Nobody knows. I've seen one as big as my forearm crawling around up there.
Oh. Truly, we're in a loathsome, blasphemous place. Sickening.
Full of loathsome, blasphemous people.
For the first time, he cracks a smile and starts kind of laughing. That's for certain.
You think this is funny? That's your fate, up there. I'm glad you're amused by it.
I look up, like, kind of horrified as she says it, and I glance over and I call far, like, oh.
Oh, where? I am so tired. When will we rest? Where will we rest?
That's an interesting question. We'll have to find you lodgings, but you may have to share it with those unfamiliar to you.
Sounds like home.
This is a dangerous place. I see the ring on your finger, Farum. It's an easy way to get your hand removed, to get your throat cut. Others will think that you think you're better than them.
What's your ring made of?
It's gold.
Who would want such a disgusting thing as gold? Loathsome. Only a Farum would want something like that.
Hey, gold is the purest of all the elements.
It's the blood of the most despicable of things, a son. Oh,
Do you mind if I just have a look at that?
Don't you touch it, freak!
Oh, she's going to be the one cutting your hand off, I think.
Maybe she'll attach it to her own. Find a replacement.
Very funny. I'm glad you're all so amused by this situation, since I'm the only one that seems to be taking it seriously.
Oh, I'm taking it seriously enough.
This is called gallows humor. You better get used to it.
Oh, well.
So tired.
And he toys again with the ring on his pinky, as it is some sort of totem. Keeps him sane. Oh, my ring, not my ring. I'm gonna get marked.
I come over to you, Thalogar, and I go, you're not going to eat your satyr, even though it's been cooked. Disgusting as that is.
Yeah, he looks up. No, we don't. No, it's savagery.
I suggest you put your hand up there if you can reach Stumpy, and take a handful of maggots, because that's the only other food you're going to find in here.
You would be surprised what you can eat once you learn.
I would be. I don't know. I don't see any trees or roots or bark or berries or flowers or grass or whatever the blasphemous gods of this place, whatever other things you eat. I don't know what you eat. I eat flesh, raw, real, that's hunted and killed. That's what I eat.
Maybe he could try and eat his ring.
He looks at you with the dirtiest look he can. He puts his hand kind of behind his back. I eat the eye, and then I eat the earth.
What kind of nonsense are you gibbering on about? You eat the earth. What do you mean, like, what do you call them things? I don't know. I don't know what you call them, but the green things with the red in the middle of them.
He looks confused.
Is that what you eat? The things that grow when it's warm and they grow?
Rose? Is that what you refer to?
Not a rose. I know the rose. A rose is a symbol of my faith. This thing, I don't remember. It smelled disgusting, and the humans seem to like it, at least. Up in trade, they did. Some sort of exotic import. I don't eat things like that, and I don't pay much mind to them. You understand?
Why do you eat the flesh?
Because it's delicious. Why wouldn't I? And to take the exhilaration of that blood into me. Don't get me wrong, that little goat there was a sad, wretched thing, not a potent stinging spice to its blood, just a meager ration. Still, a Frayean inspired to fear like the one that I drank from when they came. I killed one of these blasted followers of he who has many names. I killed her and I drank her blood, ripped her throat clean out. My fangs, and it was delectable. The fey wines that dribbled down my throat. Ecstasy. I tell you that, small one.
Well, you will feel right home here.
I will.
Maybe this is the place where you belong, creature.
Maybe it's where you belong. You unwashed abomination.
He gives you a smile with his crooked yellow teeth. We'll see about that.
At least our gods don't abandon us like yours did you. And I kind of step back from you like, yeah.
He goes like, what?
He does have a point.
Oh, thank you. From the one-armed wonder.
Very witty. Very
Our
witty.
gods abandoned us, we abandoned them. I think we're even.
You run away like scared children left in the shopping square. That's what you done. That's what you done, lad. You're not even. And you found nothing but a beard of sorrow full of crumbs and such things. What are you going to do? Just eat everything you got in the beard while you're in here? Probably enough in there, isn't it?
I'm going to try and hit him. I've had enough of this. He's
All
just
right.
lunging forward.
All right. Let's roll reaction.
Alright. What do I roll for it?
Let me see here. It should be on the sheet.
Because my reaction modifier is 0.
Then you just roll 2d8.
Okay.
I know my
Is
record.
this going to be everyone or just...
Whoever wants to get involved in this fight.
I would
Oh my god!
Ooh.
Alright, you get to go first.
Probably I'm going to roll that 8.
For those of you at home, what I just rolled were called 2 1s.
Oh!
You go first.
Critical failure.
Unless you roll 2 1s as well, you got to go first.
No, I got myself an 8 and a 5, good sir.
So you get to re-roll your 8 too.
Yep. And that's another 5, so that's 18.
Cool.
Oh.
All right, you go first. You are lunging at him, sir.
I'm
So-
just trying to tackle and get him to the ground, just pounding on him like the filthy, disgusting mongrel he is.
I'm a mongrel, but I'm filthy.
All right, so you are going to. Let's see here. You're going to roll your dexterity plus your brawl.
Let me check on my sheet for a moment. Dexterity, and the brawl. Didn't think I have any on brawl, sadly.
You don't have any brawl?
I was not wise enough to take any.
What's your athletics?
So
Nice.
My athletics should be. Am I an idiot? Can't find it. Didn't think
it
I
should be
had
toward the top of the skills on the character mask.
No, don't have any skill in it.
Oh, wow. All right. So just remember, when you roll your brawl, now you have a -4 penalty because you are completely inept at brawling.
Okay, then it's just
Yeah, just you. You roll 2d8 minus 4.
-4. Oh, not looking too good. That's a 9.
I have a 12. As you swing at me, I nimbly step out of the way. My eyes getting wide, the anger surging over me. My predatorial gaze becomes vicious and fierce as I hiss at you. First, I'm going to try to cow you. So
Okay.
you're going to need to make a meditation. Fear, if you have any bonus to fear or forte, it's meditation. Remember, if you're on meditation, it's going to be -4.
I
and-
think I can substitute it due to one of my.
Yeah, he has hold on to your hate.
If you got that one, there's a lot of ways you can go about it. There's a few others too, and that's certainly a good one. So let's see how much you do hate. And unfortunately for you, my pool is very, very high in this area. All right, so
Wow.
for those of you watching at home, the way the mechanics work for this is it's your rating and presence plus any additional advantages you have. As we all know, Miyagi have essentially a forte to intimidate anyone. So what I have is a 20. So you have to.
Oh, that's an 8, and I think I can re-roll that 8.
Correct.
And
If you
2,
get 20,
so
the tie goes to you.
that is 14, then plus my hate, which is 4? Oh no, it's just philosophy, so that's 3 plus a 40 in it. But sadly, that's not enough.
17 versus 20, yeah.
Yep, not going to be enough. All right, I don't boost on you. Good thing for you. You are now at -1 to everything against me for the remainder of the scene. As I have partially cowed you. This, however, unfortunately for you, is a move action and not a normal action, which means I'm going to do something else now. As I go, I lean in and attempt to bite you, and well, I rolled a 1 and an 8, which for those at home that suppresses. I would normally be allowed to roll the 8. In this case, I cannot. I still get the benefit of 8 to the roll. I am going to be at a 10 then. I only have a bonus of +2 to add to this, unfortunately. But that's going to be a 10, so he's going to have to get at least a 10.
Yeah, so you'll roll 2d8 and then add your defense rating -1.
Yeah, but again, yeah, he is at a -1 penalty at the moment.
Oh, the 8's just coming in here!
Yeah.
So that's 8, that's 10, that's 17, -1, 16, plus 3, that brings me to 20.
Yeah. Well, you well exceed. I lunge in to bite at you as you're able to jump in and get with the narrative here as well. And I lunge in.
And
way off me. You.
Even though Thalogar is absolutely terrified by this creature lunging at him, he manages to just kind of push it to the side and divert it a bit back, though it surely would have eaten off his face. Just, what the disgusting creature! And he will try and just hit you again.
I will try to step in. So if I could roll a reaction.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
You haven't even gone. You're free to go in.
Yep. I got a 1 and a 7, so I just have just 7 for me.
Okay, so we'll put you in after George makes his next attack.
Yep. So that's a -5. Oh, that's 0. Put together. It's just useless. He doesn't seem to know what he's doing as he tries to just swing at you like some amateur who's never been in a fight.
Does it? I'm looking now. Now it's. I am going. I see these two are going at it. Look like they're going for absolute blood, ready to kill each other right here in the filth down here. Does it appear to me that your character? I'm sorry, I don't have the pronunciation on your character, Ander.
Oh well, he hasn't ever given you his name.
Yeah,
so.
right. So I'm gonna. Does he look like he's about to try to rip the throat out of Thalogar?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be great for him, unfortunately. This might have been a bad day to start a fist fight.
Okay. Well, I try to step between the two of you, and mostly I'm not at all concerned about Thalogar. I'm not concerned that he's gonna beat you up. So he's trying to stop you from killing Thalogar, basically, right down here. Stop immediately.
All right, so
you need to work together.
Are you kind of in a way where you're kind of like keeping him behind you, where I can't really see him?
him behind me. I'm facing.
All right, so I start stepping away, still just almost steam coming out of my cold form as I try to stare. Like, I mean, I guess the stumpy one is like one way or another, kind of coming out and look, and I'm just glaring at you. I mean, just a very tremendous, fierce force of intimidation still permeating off of me as an apex predator and as what would be. But I do step back, sort of now regarding the big hammy hands that came to put a punch on me, and I look towards you, showing my teeth.
Away from me, you disgusting, vile creature.
I impressed you. You should be thankful to this wolf fairy. Many times their kind will not back down from a fight once they have started.
Thankful? He insulted my honor.
Yes.
You think your honor matters here? Look at you. You're all fighting and making jokes, and everything around us wants to eat us.
Everything, as he looks at the red-headed one.
Indeed. But not you. Your blood is like shite.
She is right. We have to stick together and we have to work together to get out of here. For I think we can, whatever this
Don't be fooled. This creature's gonna eat you in your sleep.
Don't let the Farum dash your faith, young one. I could see you coming to the army of the Purple Rose one day as time advances, if you can get out of this place. But I do like the determination in you. I respect it. And I don't think all of you clay meats deserve to be eaten. But if you're weak, if you're too weak to pull it off, I can't make any promises there, as you do look delicious.
I seem actually grateful that you say that. Yes, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very kind of
Now, what about you, Kalfar?
Well, my trust isn't so easily won, but
Trust?
I don't want to be here alone. Maybe we could all make an arrangement of sorts.
Like what?
And as she smiles, her small, sharp canine teeth flash in the small amount of light there is.
Both of
Thalogar feels like
Ahriman's
he's surrounded
eyes...
by
Both of Ahriman's eyes have now peeked over the top of the trench, and you can feel this vengeful, hungry deity staring down at you, and you now have a pale moonlight that is filtering down. It's almost like an inverse of the day's light. It casts almost no shadow as it's directly above you, and it is actually night.
Perhaps we can continue this conversation later. I can barely see the hand in front of my face.
Humans, what can you do?
Yeah, I bet you can't see much better than me, Farum.
I can't see the hand in front of my face either, and that's not going to stop me.
Look how far has a sense of humor.
Out of character question, how I know Ferms see pretty decent on an old condition. Do they see better in Twilight than?
No, you see three times. You see 3 times further, or 3 times as well as a human, and
Oh.
so you actually see worse when it gets dark, not better. But you still see a lot better than a human.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm stumbling around as I'm trying to follow the Frayean priest. In the dark.
On the other hand, the Frayean see a lot worse. As to their racial slur of white eyes.
Yeah, the
Just-
Frayean at this point is actually, you guys can see him, he's holding the hand of the ogre at this point.
So it does really keep racing through my mind. Like I'm like continually having to sort of suppress myself to not just lunge out and just start attempting to devour him now when he might be at his weakest.
Unfortunately, he is basically attached to this mountain of an ogre standing next to him.
That does help me find the meditative strength to pursue a different option.
He brings you to... Actually, the ogre speaks out to you and he says, "It is time for you to find your dwellings for the night.
Okay.
If you will follow me, I know a cave."
Oh, great. Even better lighting.
As you will. I definitely am keeping in my mind to the fact that this may be a quick attempt at betrayal to turn us into the next satyr.
He's actually walking ahead of you, leading you on, and as you walk through the trench and you see and you feel the misery around you, you kind of realize that you've made some sort of very strange allies. This two-faced Frayean whose emotions seem to run so close to the surface and break out so quickly and at every turn. They have taken an interest in you for some reason, and they eventually lead you to a deep cave that you have to go maybe 30 or 40 yards deep into it, but it's empty and it's cool. There's nothing inside of it. And they leave you for the night, and just as they reach the edge of the cave, Kaladan turns around to you, and he says, "I am so glad that I decided to stop them from devouring you today. I expect you to be prompt in the morning for prayer. And with that, he turns and leaves.
Prayers. He, the Farum looks around at this place. That's better than nothing, I suppose. And he gives the, he looks over to the wolf fairy, still with fear, still intimidated by him, and just tries to get to the other corner of the room.
I look over you and I say, I don't want to eat you, and otherwise there ain't no point in spending what little energy I have. Keep your hands to yourself, and you'll find yourself still in the world.
You know, it's good. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Just stay over there. And he's trying to look tough. I hardly can. As he sits down, what are we going to do?
Maybe we should sleep in shifts. I'll stay awake for the first one.
And kill all of us.
Kill you with what?
I
Do
don't
I
know
look
what
like
you have.
I'm much of a fighter?
Probably a bone dagger you've made for yourself while we were looking about you shifty, sly one.
Oh, there's nothing shifty or sly about me.
Yeah.
Don't believe the rumors.
A liar. You're lying now. I can smell it on you.
Lying's just misunderstanding from between friends.
Every white lie is a prayer uttered to the ears of Loptif, though long and Frayean they are. Don't pray to her.
I'm paused at the edge of the cave and haven't gone in because I can barely see outside. I'm assuming there's no light source inside.
Yeah, no, it's completely dark inside. You can hear them speaking down in the cave, so you can kind of assume that there's nothing lying in wait for you. But at the edge of the cave, you can see, basically as well as you or I could in real life, in the trench with the moonlight that's shining down below you. So you can still see people moving around, milling about. You can hear the other prisoners outside crying, weeping, some praying to their deities, and some praying to he who has many names, asking for redemption, and some foolishly asking for forgiveness.
Cowards.
I put my hands out in front of me and sort of fumble my way into the cave, hoping not to trip over someone, but following the sound of their voices.
The Thalogar will kind of give you a nod from behind. You can step freely.
Okay. Oh.
Path is clear. As he kind of just goes past you, and
okay.
as he can see at least decently.
Thank you, Thalogar.
Just stop being that.
Have you seen what I have seen today? The bodies everywhere, and smell.
Yes, yes, get used to it. Take it, grow on it. If you want to survive him, he looks over, kind of notches to the red-headed one. If you want to survive all of this, you need to toughen up, boy.
That's right.
Yes.
You didn't have
first.
You didn't have the strength to beat me to death. Now, at least have the strength to survive.
I will.
And he just turns around and tries to find a place where he can sit in comfort.
I sit down in an Indian style, and I'm looking at Cern, though of course I don't know her name, but that's who I'm looking at, because I've identified her as the threat. I think the Farum is scared of me, and I think the human is at least equally as scared of me. And she is a dirty, filthy Kulfar who cannot be trusted, and probably has already made some sort of bone shank she plans to stab right in my throat because she knows I'm superior to her. And that's what's going to happen as soon as I fall asleep.
Very, very slowly, Cern walks up to the human and leans in and says, "Do you really think you can trust the one with the red hair? Because the first thing out of his mouth was that he wanted to eat you.
Well,
Why don't you let me use you as a pillow, and I'll protect you for the first half of the night, and you can wake me up if he tries to get me for the second."
I know some. My character with 3 grades and forte in the gods does know stuff about this goddess she worships, Al-Sam. Kind of back away and say, no, thank you. Appreciate it. But he does, I do admit, he does speak rather strangely, this resurrection of Luku. It doesn't seem possible to me, but I think we shall all protect each other tonight. I've served many watches, and I think I can serve once more again.
Thalogar will look for something like a stone that he could use as an improvised weapon and kind of holds it.
It doesn't take you long to find one.
Yeah.
And most of the stones around here are jagged, so it's not as though they are meant to be used as weapons, but they are meant to torment and hurt anyone who tries to sit down or live in the trench.
I keep one of those clenched into my fist, just in case that cannibal tries to sneak up on me and I could bash him over the head with it.
I will serve the first watch. I will wake one of you for the second.
Good. And
I identify the human as the least likely to be any degree of threat at all, and the Cauliflower, of course, would be the most threat. So the human saying that, and the way he reacted to the Ferrum, and also his seeming interest in Luku, I'm not too uncomfortable with that idea. Very well. How long do you want to stay watch? An hour?
Well, I can serve. I've been known to stay up for long hours of the night, so however long.
However long.
make it 2.
Well,
Wake me then.
I will do 2.
And with that, Thalogar will find a place relatively close to the human. He tries to get comfortable. The sharp edges everywhere, the smell, the weeping, the screams. He will find little sleep in here.
Thalogar, sleep against my back. It'll be more comfortable that way. And then when I am sleeping, I will sleep against yours. I've done this before.
Oh, so he's your pillow.
Wow. I am sorry, but I know of your goddess. I do not.
He's saying better a stone than a snake to sleep against, lady.
I'll take my chances on my own then. I can't trust the 3 of you at all. And she'll go find a spot up against the wall of the cave and kind of painfully hunker down with a stone clutched in her one hand.
I am curious, how attractive is your character, though?
You're a human, extremely.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
And Cauliflower the sexy.
Wow, I'm surrounded by beautiful predators, and I'm the only ugly one. And as Thalogar tries to get some sleep, leaning against Bryce, he's just whispering, just loud enough so Bryce can hear it. Thanks.
Yes.
He tries to get some sleep.
Do not mention it. It's the least I can do to help another person.
He won't answer anymore.
So, I wait for the Ferrum to fall asleep.
I knew it.
And you're sleeping with your back to him, or you're watching with your back to him, right?
Yeah, I assumed that he was sleeping, like his back is up against mine as I'm kind of looking out of the cave.
All right, I'm going to try to, as you're looking out of the cave, and I'll sort of position myself in a way where I'm not quite in your, maybe just barely outside of your periphery. I'm going to stand up from what was my pretend meditation, and I'm going to use stealth to walk over to the Ferrum. Oh!
Okay.
That's going to be a perception hearing for you, buddy.
Okay.
And since you're asleep, I'm going to give you a -3. Or are you rolling against the human?
Oh, I'm at the human, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were rolling against the Ferrum.
No, I'm in asleep. So, yeah, so what did I get? I got an 11, 12, 13, 13 is, 22. I got 22.
Oh!
Yeah, well, not that good. I have a 12, so.
Not even close.
Two boosts.
So what I do is I slide all the way around you, and I'm up there. I kind of squat down directly behind you now, mind you, and I take my fingers like this, and I go, by the sound of this body, and I whisper, and I put my fingers on his eyebrows like that, and slightly onto his eyes, and then I reach in and pull out the dream that he's having. Ever so slightly, I begin to attempt to coax it out, not having the ability to straightforward force it, but I can see it, I can feel it, I can converse with it, and I attempt to do so. Come now, and let me see you. Let me speak with you, my shivering brother, from beyond the veil of dreams. Let me come now. I'm projecting my voice across that barrier between flesh and dreams.
Dreams of Thalogar are full of resentment, full of hate. He resents not just this place, he resents you all. He resents the fact that he had to live in poverty all his life. He resents the gods most of all, and you can kind of draw the dream out. You see the ghettos of Bale, where he grew up. You see the staggering poverty of his family. And you see probably the image of this golden ring that seems to be the center of his existence.
As this dream comes forth, it speaks to you. Why do you take me away from him?
I wish to give you a better vessel to enrapture for the night. Come, let me lead you. And I say, this one here. Join with the other dream and give her exquisite visions.
I am no nightmare. I have no
so.
desire to do that.
I did not say so, of grand spirit. Merely exquisite visions, not terror, not pain, just beauty. Let her sleep just a little bit longer. Make it just a little harder. Make it just a little more likely to reclaim her. With the two of you there, it should be most wondrous.
Why? Why should I do this for you? There are so many here. Many of your kind are awake outside. Many of you try to make bargains with me here in this place. But there is so much suffering.
I move my fingers around on it because, look at her. You chose the wrong one. These dreams are mere fear and pain, but she has an exquisite mind. Just delve into it, dive in there, explore it, rummage around through the labyrinth of her brain, and delight yourself in all the images and the provocative aspect you can share with her strange Kalfar mind. I believe it would be a wondrous treat for you on that evening. You can leave this one in the dead space of the hollow sleep. That's all he deserves at any rate. But her, look at her, delightful, succulent, a mind to savor, surely.
I see it.
Yes.
Yes, I shall visit the Kalfar.
And I kind of, not stroking, but sort of moving my hand around towards her. Yes, very nice. And I slink away after having lulled his dream away from him, leaving him in a black, dead-end space of just almost more of a completely dreamless non-REM rest and giving her doubly, but hopefully leaving her in a space where she's not going to be waking up.
This dream enters Cern's mind, and Cern, your dreams become almost contradictory at once. as if there are two aspects to them at once. You do not experience nightmares, but you experience the most vivid dreams that you have had in your entire life. It's almost as if you are awake the entire time, surrounded by two sides of the same coin. These the outside of a mask and the inside of a mask. These two warring dreams within you. They bring such images that your mind cannot even almost cannot comprehend them, and you are in a deep, deep sleep.
She takes comfort in the dream and just lets herself experience the duality of it, totally oblivious to the world around her.
And I will return to my own trance, now assured, at least in myself, that the Kalfar will be forced to slumber while I am able to rest without having my throat split with a bone shank she has secured somewhere on her person. And
the watch continues, and the most of the night is uneventful, and Bryce, true to his word, has gone through many watches in his life and makes it through his.
As I'm on watch, for any of you who may wake up suddenly in the middle of the night, he seems to be singing very softly to himself, very softly to myself. I use it as a way to stay awake, but it's a for any who have sing or any grades in sing, it's a chant of some sort. That's all.
And so, Thalogar, you chose the second watch, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys can switch over if you like.
Yep.
Thalogar, it's time to wake.
Already?
Yes, this time.
Okay. And he stands up a bit. Let's swap. I want to have the entrance of the cave. I want to see it. And as he stands up, he takes a good look at the wolf fairy, but probably didn't look like it moved a lot.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Then he will take his watch. And let's Bryce use his back as a pillow as he did before.
Just as a point to mention, I only require 4 hours of trance per night, so.
Right. I thought as a red cap you had to sleep for 8 hours, though.
Yeah. Yes, you're quite right, yes.
Okay. So is, for a stealth, an opposed stealth roll, that's going to be insight, correct? That they...
For stealth?
Like if someone is trying to sneak up on you, how do you roll against that? Oh, perception, okay.
It probably... I mean, unless... You can only roll sight if you can directly see them. Like, if someone sneaks up behind you, it's just all hearing.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay, so... 1 second. Okay, so... Thalogar, I would like you to roll your perception plus your enlightenment.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Does the one count? Even I have one.
The one does not count, so you have a 5 plus whatever your bonuses were.
My enlightenment is at 8, so that would be what, 0?
That'd be 0.
Yep. So it's just a 5 then.
Okay.
Boy, do you have perception at all?
Oh wait, I do not have perception. I'm sorry. That is then -4 again.
Oh.
So it's just a 1.
All right. So as
the worst card ever.
Okay, so everybody else is asleep at this point, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, 1 second. Okay. Thalogar, as you are kind of sitting and looking out the cave and trying to discern, just keeping your ear out and whatnot, all of a sudden you feel as though your shoulder is in a vice, as if something has just snapped down upon it, and you can feel you're gonna take 4 points of damage. Do you have any like armor or like a hide rating?
No.
Okay, yeah, then you're gonna take 4 points of damage.
Yep.
As the beak of a chthon just snaps down into your flesh on your shoulder, and you can hear. You all hear this shriek from the Ferrum. Yevastika and Bryce, you both instantly bolt awake out of your sleep. Cern, unfortunately, you can, just on the edge of, waking up, but you can't quite do it. It's almost as if there's something trying to wake you up, but God, this dream is just amazing. You can't be drawn out of it. So the two of you wake up. And when you do, you can see that there are 3 chthon in the room.
Here's a picture of Chthon for you.
I can see its crotch.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to get a custom overlay longer, but that's
Right.
something.
Okay, well, there's 3 of them. These things, they have kind of like a snapping turtle mouth, and one of them is tearing away the flesh of this Ferrum before you. And you can see he's not trying to eat it; he's just trying to hurt him as much as possible. And you can hear them kind of shuffling around, and they're grumbling in Tahulian about he who has many names. You can hear these names being read off. Dekarabia, Lucifer, Paiman, Samikjaina, Shax, Vasago. And as they are coming towards you, you now get to roll your reaction, everybody.
How many of them did you say I was again then?
There are 3 total.
Oh, boy. All right.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
Reroll that.
Oh!
that's a 14. That's a 21.
It's okay. 12 is 12. It's going to be 18 for me.
I got a 24.
Woo!
Yeah, I rolled really well that time.
Very nice.
Save us.
Okay, so the order of turns. We're going to start with Bryce.
All right. Bryce leaps to his feet, feeling his Thalogar being like clamped on. He feels him jolting. Thalogar, what is? And he looks around and sees these terrible creatures with their beaks and latched onto his shoulder, and he turns around and he grabs the Chthon, and he tries to basically grapple with this Chthon that has Thalogar by his shoulder and try to get him off.
All right, so you can roll your attack.
Okay. This will be grapple, which is brawl. Okay, we got. Okay, this is going to be a 13 total to hit.
Okay, so he had a 6. So you get 1 boost on him.
Okay.
So are you just trying to kind of wrench him off, or are you trying to like actually hurt him and like choke him?
I'll actually choke him because I do know of Chthon living in trade. That their beaks are quite strong, so ripping him off would probably rip part of his flesh off. So I try to grab him by the throat and sort of like choke him so he lets go.
Okay, so this guy is an extra. So, and since you got a boost on him, you may decide what you do to him. He's toast. You have defeated him.
All right. Well, I'm I'm absolutely furious that anyone would sneak up on us in the middle of the night and try to kill us. So my guard's instincts go in, and I put I got my forearm against his throat, and I slowly just crush in his throat. His windpipe is being absolutely. You can hear the windpipe collapsing under the strength of Bryce as he drives it in, and the air is the Chthon releases, but it's not enough. I completely crushed the life out of him slowly through his throat.
You can see his eyes are kind of like popping out almost. It's almost kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall, when he's exposed to Mars, just being choked to death, and finally, like, when his windpipe crushes, he's like... And he kind of, his beak kind of releases off of Thalogar's shoulder. And Thalogar is up.
Feeling the release of the jaws, I try to get up, still having the stone in my hand that I got earlier. And there are two more, right?
Correct.
I'm gonna try and use my rock to just blast them. I had it with this fucking place.
All right.
Sucks. That's a -4 for me. Oh, thank goodness. So that's 6. That's 14.
So 10. So he had a 6. So you do not boost, but you've basically defeated this guy. You may decide what you do to him.
All right. Thalogar just smashes with the stone in his hand repeatedly on this guy. Kind of brings him down in a position where he can just smash his head with a stone, and does it again and again and again until the skull just cracks at one point and the blood just drips from the stone, stickering into the hard ground as he just screams and batters on this creature.
Avastakar.
I'm going to step up. He says there's only one of them left, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be no point in even killing it, as there's plenty of meat on the ground. I look in towards the thing. My eyes widen with the savage primal beast, the wolf spirit, the living fear that resides within me, and I share it with him. And my intimidation is going to be 20. My intimidation is a 20.
Okay, he rolled an 18, so you do manage to cower him.
I'm just going to leave him to run off unless he's a fool.
No, he turns and kind of waddles away as fast as his stumpy little legs can take him. Just kind of howling out there and screaming out to he who has many names.
I just allow my presence just to waft off me, allowing him to know he is inferior, he is food, and much like his brother in here, who will be on my breakfast. How many hours have I had, just so I have a rough idea? My character requires 7, right?
You've had like about 6.
Okay.
You were almost good.
Okay.
I do not let him escape.
Okay, you can easily overtake him.
I do not let him escape. I trip him up, and I'm gonna beat him down on the ground until he's dead.
Okay, make your attack.
Ooh.
Actually, not very good. Just a 10.
Okay, you still hit him. No boost.
Okay. All right. I trip him, get him down. I'm just gonna absolutely slam him. I'm gonna give him that elbow drop right on his head afterwards. And when he's down, he's trying to get up.
Thalogar will try and stop you from that when you.
Are you killing him?
I will kill him if I can.
I sit here and watch the savage cruelty of the human with curiosity. Has our Kalfar maiden awakened yet?
Yes, just now you are just coming out of your sleep.
Break
I
into the
smile to
sound
myself,
of
What's
bone
appreciating
crushing.
my own handiwork.
what's going on? Oh, what are you all doing? I thought we were supposed to be asleep. And she gets up and kind of wanders over uselessly and
You see the battered Chthon's, broken open skull from Thalogar's stone. The one with a crushed windpipe, still with pieces of Thalogar's flesh in its beak. And another attempting to run away as Bryce trips him and then just slams his elbow down on the back of his head. Thalogar, you may try to intervene.
Yes, he will try and just get you off him. Right, you might know something.
No, foul servant of the enforcers, I will kill you!
Oh.
Oh,
All right, so if
I was
you
quite interested.
If Thalogar tries to stop me, I will struggle against him.
okay, so Thalogar, yeah, you'll have to make an attack roll against Bryce.
absolutely. That's what, a 5?
Minus
Yes.
4.
Yeah,
So you don't
5.
have any skills.
Okay. And I
I
rolled
really need to get some brawl.
Oh boy. Alright. Okay, so that's going to be 15, 21, 24.
Wow.
Easily, I just die. I see you coming out of my periphery vision, and I kind of roll aside as you clumsily fly past me.
All right, and you may finish this extra off.
I'm absolutely just I'm gonna shove his head into the ground so that his beak is split open, and as it splits open, all the tongues coming out and the disgusting, it's just split completely, and his head is almost severed in two as I drive his face into the ground.
You're all kind of shocked by the savagery of this human.
Can I want to take advantage of the moment and sneak over to one of the bodies
Mhm.
and try and take a piece of the exposed skull.
Okay.
you want me
So are you trying to do that, yeah, you can roll your stealth. And I'm going to say that, Ander, you're the only one in position to actually see this, so you'll have to make your opposing roll.
Sure. Now, so she goes past my line of sight, is what you're saying? So I can roll sight?
Not necessarily. It's more that she's trying to, I think, pick something up without being noticed. She might not be she's not going past you, because the carnage is kind of to your side.
Something I'm hearing or seeing. Which did you want me to go with?
We'll say hearing.
Okay. Okay. I do have an enlightenment bonus, so it's going to be 8. I want to say I'm at 10, so probably not. Yeah, I'm just at 10 either way. So I don't know. How'd you do?
18?
Huh?
18?
No. She gets over on me. There's so much going on. That my hunger for these turtle creatures is certainly very apparent, and we'll go with I don't even know what a chthon is. I'm like,
So
delicious.
during all the chaos where everyone's attention's turned to the fight, Cern carefully sneaks a little bit closer and leans over the body, glancing around, and grabs out a piece of the skull and tucks it into the waistband of her legging, maybe to make a bone knife? No one's there to see her, so
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
you can never be too careful. And she stands up and smooths her filthy, long, blue-black hair out and looks perfectly innocent.
I see if I can find any sort of weapons of any sort on them, any sort of clubs or anything at all that I can use.
No, the one that you just wasted had like a rock in his hand. Neither of them, these guys don't seem like they were all that organized or intelligent. Probably simply trying to get a quick meal out of the new guys before you can get established.
Okay. Thalogar will, as he witnesses how you just mutilate this creature, he's just saying, I never thought you had that in you. Why you kill him? He might have known something.
I kind of
Interesting.
look down at the corpse, and it slowly dawns upon me that this is the first time I have ever killed any, and other than livestock, this is the first thing any sentient being I have ever killed, and it slowly starts to dawn upon me, but I do feel righteous in my actions. I'm avenging, the probable deaths of my father, my brother, and the tragic death of my mother. And I feel a little bit better about some of the guilt leaves me. I say.
Thalogar, as you see him kind of still straddled over this body that he's just destroyed, you think back to that time that you stole from the nobleman that he was protecting, and had he been ordered to he actually carried out the orders to kill you, that this likely would have been your fate.
Thalogar, he looks at them in a kind of a new light. He thinks back to the moment, well, this could have been him, or maybe it would have been better if it was him. And he steps closer. Are you okay, Kit? Your character, Andrew, is very young, right? He's about 19 years old, something like that?
Yeah, he's somewhere in that range, you would think. I'm sure you've probably seen humans before, so you would know that, yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay? And he looks at... There's a bit of worry, and he seems a bit frightened, actually, at you.
I kind of look, and for a second there is a little bit of that fire left in his eyes as he sees you. Perhaps he thinks that you're another of these dirty, disgusting Chthons that are coming after him, and he recognizes you and he says, "Yes, I am all right." And I stand up and sort of try to get some of the gore off of my dirty undergarments, and yes. Thank you, Thalogar.
As you all kind of stand in this aftermath, and what little that you can see, those who can see in the dark, the Kalfar and the Mihangi, as you watch this blood from these corpses kind of pooling around and draining out of their bodies, you watch the cavern has a slight slope down to it, and as you get to, you kind of look. Once the blood trickles down to the very end of the cave, you can see that it's actually kind of moving in through the wall, and there's a small, just tiny, tiny crack in the stone that's maybe, no more than the width of a few hairs, and maybe no more than, 5 or 6 inches across. But what you thought was a complete system, what was an impenetrable wall, seems to have the tiniest chink.
Which one of us notices this?
Both of you, as you're kind of surveying the carnage as the blood just drains out to the back of the cave.
So I want to go over there and have quite a look at that. And what I want to do first is pull back one of the heads of these filthy Chthon and drive my fangs right into the artery to make a source of blood. And I'm going to put my fingers in it, and then I'm going to walk over there.
Okay. So you go over to it, and again, it's a very, very small crack, but everything that you've noticed about these walls is that it was almost like they were tunneled out perfectly. Like there was nothing, like there was no weakness in this place. But it appears as though this prison may not be as solid as previously thought. So
I begin to like really thoroughly examine it, and I I guess you're probably looking over that direction too. Is that right, Jenny?
Yeah, the Cern, she's gonna immediately follow behind him and kind of scope out the situation, but not get terribly too close because she's obviously still very nervous in his presence.
So I'm going to get down and really examine it to see if there's any sort of weakness here that I can exploit at this moment, or how strong the rock seems to be, or any
I mean, the rock seems as though it's still extremely, extremely strong. Like you can't do anything with your hands to move it. However, if you had some kind of tool, you might be able to break a little bit more of this off. You might be able to break it open. You're not sure.
I walk back over to the Chthon. I begin to examine its beak.
Okay, it's sharp. Kind of comes down in a point, and you could theoretically use it as a tool. It seems strong enough.
It does seem strong. Okay. I grab it by the head. About how much does it weigh?
Oh, the head? It's heavy. It's like 15 or 16 pounds.
No, not the head. I mean his whole body. I wasn't.
Oh, his whole body. His body.
Actually,
how strong are you? What's your strength?
8. No, I got a better idea actually. I'm going to start eating his throat. I'm going to literally eat his head off of his shoulders.
Oh God.
And enjoy it as my nice breakfast, splattering the blood all over my face, taking it down, drinking the new taste. I've never had one of these creatures before. And I am delighted. And I look up. Does anyone know what this thing's called other than delicious?
Cern, you would know from being from Jolf. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna completely ignore him though and just pay attention to the crack. And while he's eating, she takes one of the rocks that are scattered around the floor and tries to hit away at the wall to see if the cave walls are a softer rock than the ones that are scattered on the floor.
No, the cave walls seem totally solid. You could probably break like small pieces of it off, but it seems like, it's just infinitely thick. Like there's nothing behind it. Except for this place with the crack. There may be something that you could do there.
Is there anything I can roll with spelunking?
Yeah, spelunking, you can definitely use that.
Okay. Can I make a roll to tell me, like, lean in and smell the air coming out of the crack and see if it smells fresh or stagnant, to maybe try and discern how deep it goes back?
Sure. Go ahead and make your roll. If you have any fortes, you can add that too.
Okay.
And the two of you that are human and Farum, you guys notice that they are not even paying attention to the rest of the carnage or looking out for more enemies at this point. You've got one of them, biting the head off of one of these enemies for God knows what reason. He's a wolf fairy. And the other seems to be just staring at something just on the ground in the corner.
Wolf fairy?
Thalogar will... sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I do not know your name, Wolf fairy. I've never asked it. What is it?
I turn to look at you almost like absent, like, what? What does that matter? And then I go,
You asked me...
My name is Ivasta Kaw.
Ivasta Kaw?
Ivasta Kaw. I'm of the tribe of Ravenousness. What is your name, human? I say almost like kind of placating you. And before you even say it, I return to just gnawing through this thing's throat and neck bones.
Bryce Hycro. To answer your question, what you are eating is a chthon. We did have several of them come to our place at the Temple of Dista and trade to eat. They are very hungry folk.
Temple of Dista. That's you're a follower of Dista?
What? No. I grew up there with my mother for a time.
Books? Your cooking is disgusting. It's only a weak species would cook at all. Let's pray to God. What is your fascination with gods of corn and what are those little red things with the green on the ground? What's all your fascination with it? Cooking? Come on, it's not even food. Ugh, it's ridiculous. Is what it is.
Yes, well.
Cern, you can go ahead and make your roll.
So I got a 17. She's gonna lean down and breathe in the air as much as possible and try and delineate the smell. Try and smell. Oh, go ahead.
You can, as you kind of clear a little bit of the blood away, you can hear it. You actually hear it trickle down just a tiny bit past the through the crack, and the air that is in there, that is just ever so slightly almost imperceptible, seems cool. Like there is at least this cave could go a little bit farther than it has. There is at least some empty space on the other side. How much you don't know.
Well, if we can get this open, it'll at least be relief from the heat down here.
Thalogar will now actually kind of approach. What are you talking about? And he kind of holds the shoulder. He's still wounded.
How am I coming on ripping its head off with my teeth?
You've by this point in the conversation, you've managed to just now separate it.
All right, I pull it up, and when I pull it up, I let all the blood just run down in my mouth and my face, just enjoying the wondrous blood. And then I walk over to the to the little opening that I saw, and I take the beak and kind of open it with my hands, like kind of sticking my hands like this, and I start beating it against there like a pick. At which Cern, you will notice that I do a horrendously horrible job. I'm like hitting it all wrong and like using the wrong part of it. It's having Spelunker is the ability to be able to understand how to mine, and this would clearly be a mining task, which I am doing incredibly. I'm doing about as good as you expect from something that comes from a giant woodland setting.
What?
I hit the thing against the thing.
Yeah.
Why don't you let me give that a try? I might have a little better luck with it.
I look at you like I can't possibly believe you can do better than that. Fine, take it then. Do what you need with it, and I start kind of pulling some of the blood off me. And I kind of like getting my long tongue out, kind of like licking my face as it would be to one of wolf, and like licking my hand.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and make another spelunking roll on this one.
Okay.
See how much you can pick through. If either of you other guys has spelunking and would like to try your hand at this as well, you can.
I got 16, an 8, a 4, and then my rating.
Okay. And you re-rolled the 8?
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. 23.
Nice. Okay. So she very, very adeptly takes the point of the beak and shoves just straight into the crack, and it seems to drive actually like almost a couple centimeters into it. And you have a leverage point. You can try and see if you can bring this open a little bit more. And what's your strength?
It is 10, rating 2, strength 10.
Okay. So you sit there and you kind of flex for a second and you grunting a little bit, and you force your weight down on this lever that you've created, and the lever itself, this piece of skull, snaps open and the beak breaks. But you've managed to chip off a piece of rock that is maybe the size of like a 50-cent piece or like a silver dollar, something like relatively small. But it breaks off, and you can there's just simply now a hole that you're looking into, and there's cool air coming out of it, and you can hear the drip, drip, drip of water very distantly, very, very distantly, barely dripping into a large pool of water.
What is that?
I hear something.
It's water. There's water down there.
Oh, water.
Keep your voices down.
Oh, I'd love water right now. Clean, fresh, refreshing, glorious water.
Well, then don't just stand there. Go get something to make the hole bigger.
Yes. You're right. You're right. I seem to show a deferent respect toward you at the moment. Come, the two of you. Help me gnaw their throats out. Let us all rip at their throats with our teeth.
What is going on in there? I turn back.
He looks at you like you just asked him to jump from a cliff.
I look at you with confusion, as if my request was clearly very, very, very reasonable.
It's pretty clear to you guys as you're looking. The Chthon beaks, as plentiful as they may be, the two remaining, they're not going to be strong enough. You guys are actually going to have to find some kind of set of tools if you want to break this any farther.
All right, telling me that's good. I would have a question for you then. The chains you said that fell off of us, had they been retrieved at that point? At any point that we saw, or as far as
not that you saw, no. And like when they unhooked, it was magic. It was clearly like a magical effect that they did, and nobody seemed to step forward to grab them.
All right, I'm gonna walk over to where they are, and I'm gonna use stealth to do so. Give me a moment. I shall return. I'm gonna use stealth to make sure I don't get ambushed by other cannibals.
Mm-hmm.
Thalogar will. We're not alone in this cave, are we?
This cave? Yeah, it's just you guys.
Oh, just me. Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, okay, I understand. So it's you're asking how many of the party, the characters, are still here?
No, I was just wondering if there's anyone else that can see us making this discovery. And
I mean, they would have to be the cave. Like it doesn't like have big twists or turns, but it's not a perfectly straight shot back. So the view would be a little obstructed, and you're maybe like 30 yards into this thing.
Okay. Well, that's good enough for now.
They would have to come up and be like right on top of you to see what you were actually doing back here.
Okay. Thanks for that. And yeah, I look around, see if there's any other sort of stone or material. Seeing I have nothing on me to help leverage this. And he's just looking around. There gotta be something here. There gotta be something. Gotta be something.
There is nothing in the cave. There's just like stone and bones and the corpses that you guys have created.
Damn it!
So, Ander, you can make your stealth roll.
I did. It's a 19.
A 19?
Yes.
Okay.
Or moving silently, at least.
Okay. So you managed to make it back to the base of the stairway to hell.
Yes.
And as you're looking there, the chains are nowhere to be seen on the ground. And as you approach, you hear the most bizarre speech that you have ever heard. It's no language that you would understand or know, and it's almost like a slopping and buzzing together. It's and as you kind of look up on the third stair up, you can see a hunched figure, and you can hear the chains clinking as this figure is climbing the stairs with the chains. And as you arrive, he kind of stops and hears you, and he turns to look at you. And you see the most horrifying, disgusting creature that you've seen in your entire existence. This thing has 3 claw-like fingers on each hand. It's hunched, it's hairy, and when you see what should be a humanoid face, you're greeted with nothing but the visage of a gigantic fly with huge compound eyes staring down at you, and a small, what looks like almost tube-like mouth. And it has the chains wrapped around itself, and it's and carrying them slowly up the stairs.
All right, I'm just gonna go back to where I was. That freaks me out. Yeah.
That's saying something.
In the
Yeah.
meantime,
It actually calls out to you as right before, like as you're walking away.
I'm like turning to cling to the shadows and be unobserved by these many eyes of compound virtuousness.
And it speaks to you in Thuban, and says, "Already trying to climb the stairs, I see. Many wait more than one day."
No, just looking about. That's all.
For these, right? And he clanks the chains around.
Just looking about. Yes, for those.
And what would a wolf fairy
I'm
want?
all like, I can't lie. It's bad.
What would a wolf fairy want with blood iron?
Toss it down. What do you need it for? What difference does it make to you?
It is not to be touched by prisoners.
I was touching it for some time.
Says you will be punished if you touch this again. All the prisoners know about that.
Well, it doesn't seem I can get to it. So, that seems to be averted.
I will make you a deal.
Oh, a deal with you? Wonderful.
If you can climb to the third step where I stand, I will give them to you.
So I look at them like, and I recoil for a moment, knowing the horror that is to Julian blood iron against my flesh. Just that alone, like, just if they're regular steps, that would be a lot. I'm not so sure about that. That doesn't seem. It doesn't seem so. I'm not so sure about. Like, look at him with fear, and then I glare at the steps with terror. I'm not so sure that doesn't seem to be too wonderful and dire.
You're not sure because you have no faith yet. That will come in time.
I start like thinking back to our need to get those over there, and like how much, how important that would be for us. And I go, all right. So if I get up there to the third stair, oh boy, this is all right. So you give them to me.
I will give them to you, yes.
I have to get to the third one. I can't get to the second one, and you could race them out.
No. You must demonstrate your faith to me.
Faith. Well, have faith. Not the kind you probably want. And whatever you are, look at it confused. I go way back, and I am going to run and attempt to jump as high up as I can, knowing that the slow ascension will probably just be completely undoable for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to try to do.
Say again?
I'm going to go far back and run straight at there and just try to jump up and try to get as close as I can up there. I know the steps are very high.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be my attempt.
Okay.
Spare myself some of the agony.
All right, so you can make your athletics roll.
Okay, my athletics. Ooh, haha! What an auspicious roll! Double sevens. Yeah, that's the one you want to talk about.
And what's your total?
19. I don't have a strength bonus. 19.
Okay, so you managed to vault up to you jump past the first stair and are able to grab onto the second one.
All right, I try to pull myself up. I try to go quickly because I know there's going to be an enormous amount of pain, and the only possibility of dealing with it is moving very fast. I also have extremely high speed. I'm very fast at running.
Okay, you make it onto the second step. Let me check one thing real quick. Okay, so you make it to that second step, and you're able to grab onto it. And the pain is instantaneous, just racking your entire body as you pull yourself up onto that second step and roll onto it. And you're screaming in agony at this point. And can you make a conditioning roll, please?
I can try. And that's going to be plus a vigor rating, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay, I didn't know. All right, so winner and home plus 1. That's going to be an 11. 11.
You find yourself just barely able to stand, your knees shaking in pain as you reach to grab above you and grab that third step to pull yourself up, but the pain is just too great. Your muscles feel as though they are rippling, they're boiling, and you find yourself compelled to fall down to the first step and then down to the bottom, back to the trench.
That falls on my shoulder. As I vomit from the pain, and I lay there looking up defeated.
Wolfberry, when you die, your impious soul will be harvested by my kind. We will take you to the oubliette. You will see he who has many names. You will learn his names, and you will shine his treasure.
No! The idea of shining gold, unbelievably horrific to my Miyagi sensibilities. I put my hands on the first step again, feebly, already in so much pain, and try to just try to mentally fight forward, try to pull myself up, just using every bit of my mind now, as my body has failed me.
And you fail. You are unable to climb the step again. And this fly, this horrifying creature, you can hear the chains clinking as he ascends the steps all the way to the top. And with this, the dawn breaks. And the
temptress, looking upon me, smiling and laughing. I spit on you. I spit on he who has many names. I shove you. My steps. I spy.
The nocturnal creatures of the prison find themselves going back to sleep, and those that survive during the day begin to scurry about, walking around you, some of them still looking at your body, laying on the sands, racked in pain, many of them hungrily, but still staying away from you, and as you finally recover just a tad bit of strength, you look up, and you can see Kaladan, the Frayean, who has extended his hospitality from maybe, 50 yards down the way, looking at you and smiling. And that is where we're going to end for the night.
All right, did you want some soliloquy?
Yeah, if anybody would like to offer a soliloquy.
And before we do that, for those watching live, go to DriveThruRPG and pick up your physical copies of 77 Throws from Within the Ring of Fire, Saga Book from Within the Ring of Fire, Frayean from Within the Ring of Fire. Hit your main man up directly and on main man at Facebook. Get your PDF copy directly sent to you. PDF bundles, bargains, baby. You can get it all right here. Woo! My God, one-stop shopping. And you can get the physical copies, hardback, softback, what you need. DriveThruRPG. And yeah, so I guess I do my soliloquy right now. This is a test I fail. A test I fail. But my lord of the blushing Eve, I see here in that fox rose sky, there is something disturbing. She is there to taunt me, and this failure I have as I attempt to get as high upon that lofty threshold with my body, with my mind, enduring the pain, during the fear I have of that damned Julian blood iron, despicable, loathsome thing, to take it, to beat against the wall, to be there, and to find something that we need to escape this place. It seems perhaps not an impenetrable prison at all, or perhaps the wall will just give way to reveal even more frustration, even more terror, even more hopelessness, as I feel it already beginning to creep into my soul, to debase me, to profane me. I have not suffered the degradations that will force me to need the He who has many names, Lord of the Dusk, great Lord Laku of the Dying Light. I still bend knee to you, as I have there upon the spire, as I was baptized. But I do not know what value I may provide, though I will fight the fight and not scream as impious humans and ask where you are. I know where I am, and here I will fight for you, whether it is through the dream, whether it is through the flesh. I shall eat, and fight, and dig my way out of here. I shall know it. I know I am not done, and my name is not done being written. I will bring you glory, my lord. I will not allow this degradation to continue, for I know I have been placed here to fight the holy war on the front against the enforcers, face to face. I will liberate the chains. I will send them all to that hell they wish, as bodiless souls. I have not forgotten you. Know that, and grow strong in my prayers. I know my tongue will not tell the lie that gives our hateful enemy our strength. Know that I love you, even though I find it hard to place my prayer, to know what to do. I will do as best I can. Right?
Would anyone else like to give a soliloquy?
Yeah, I would. This place is and crazy over here with their gods, with their mumbles. This is pure insanity. But why am iron? I shall break before I bend. We bent once, see what it gotten us to. Oh no. We will get out of here. I can't trust the others. Can't trust that wolf fairy. Looks hungry all the time. Can't trust the human, can I? He's human after all. What did they ever do for us? For cast us out of our homes, destroy our pride. Or maybe he might prove useful. Let's strengthen him. Yeah, I can use him. The other one though, I don't know what to make of it. But first we must see what lies beyond those walls. No prison is impregnable. Not if we hold on. Not if I hold on. I need to get back home. Thanks.
I look down as I'm dragging the bodies all into one pile to perhaps. I shiver inside as I realize that I will probably be consuming these bodies upon the days to come, but I will do what I have to make it out of this horrid, disgusting hell that I've been placed. I feel guilty as I look down at the bodies, but at the same time I feel I have done my mother proud today. I have avenged her death in some small way and avenged the probable deaths of both my father and my brother, but it's not enough. I've not done enough. I've failed, and I must redeem myself and make it out of this place. But I'm so weak. How will I do it? I will need the help of these others to get out. This wolf fairy, and who seems to worship a god who I know to be dead. Much like the dead sun that hangs above us, Laku must be dead. He did not come to our aid. And this follower of Elsam, I shall keep my eye on her. And Thalogar, who I rescued, well, perhaps there is a good Farum out there. He seems sturdy enough. But I will do my best. The least I can do is protect them until they make it out of here. But I shall make it out, and I will have my vengeance on these enforcers. Until then, I must consume this flesh.
Good? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Cern spends most of her time down by the small hole, breathing in the fresh air, and as the light of dawn comes up, she stands and reflects back to herself. This has been by far the worst day of my life. And as the sun rises, as the dawn breaks, I find things improving, as they always do come dawn, because I know caves, I know slavery, and I think that if I can get these weaklings to trust me, maybe I can make them slaves of their own trust. And sooner or later I'll get back home, because your fate's in your own hands, and I climbed up from nothing, from poverty, from filth and disgusting, to bring myself into wealth, and someday I'll return to it. And Halsam is always watching, ever watching over me, the pink star. The end.
All right, very nice, everyone. The dawn breaks, and another day comes. But this tale is a story for another day. Go to DriveThruRPG, get 77 Thrones, the Theological Codex, and Saga Book. They are awesome. I have a review of 77 Thrones coming out relatively soon, and stay tuned to this channel. Thank you very much, everyone.